Eli Savoie. Sports 56 Middays is presented by FedEx. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce.
We the North are now we the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Hump Day to you, and welcome into Sports 56 Middays. We told you yesterday the weather forecast for the rest of the week was going to be real nice. And today is absolutely beautiful with the sun shining here in Memphis and the Mid-South. It's the Wednesday, June 10th, 2020 edition of Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, and Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure is here to make staying at home more enjoyable for you and your family this summer. They offer contactless purchasing. They offer deliveries and curbside pickup. You can give them a call to schedule an appointment or place an order over the phone. It's Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. FedEx can help provide global access for your business. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. And again, as we say every day, thank you for all they're doing in the battle against COVID-19. Coming up on the program today, we're going to talk right off the bat here in just a few moments about a release today from the University of Memphis about what is going to be happening in the fall, at least right now. We don't know exactly if it will go down like that with things so fluid, but they had some information from the Tennessee Health Department. They have passed it along to the media, and we're passing it along to you about what it may mean for fans in the stands this fall. We will discuss on the program today. Major League Baseball Players Association has made another offer to the Major League Baseball owners. We will discuss that on the program today. Keith Carter will join us, the Ole Miss Athletics Director, at 11:05. At 11:25, we'll talk some baseball with Ed Easley, former professional catcher, both the minor and major league levels, but he's also the director of the Easley Baseball Club. He's a former Mississippi State standout. What's happening with the tournaments? And we know that the kids are back on the diamond. What are they doing for their safety precaution? And we'll get his thoughts also, what he believes as a former player is the major problem, it's usually money, the hang-up with Major League Baseball players and owners. Also today at 12:25, the return of the four-man scramble. Keith Pankey from Ridgeway Country Club and Jay Hasselman from Edwin Watts will join us. We'll make our picks for the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial. The PGA Tour is back. No fans at this event, and a lot of interesting things that they are doing for safety precautions with the battle against COVID-19, and also to honor George Floyd. We'll tell you about that a little bit later on in the show. And our 5 favorite songs category today is Days of the Week. Make sure one of the days of the week is in your title, and you can go ahead and text those lists to us via the First Bank text line at 67129, or if you're watching us live, you can message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Good morning, Mr. Savoie. How are you?
I am good. Does Hump Day qualify?
Any songs with hump in the title?
Hump Day. If it's
the Humpty
Hump Day,
song? Can we put the Humpty song in there? No, we can't do that.
I have a question for both you and Gabe here off the bat, because this is something that I've just learned here this morning at the station.
Mm-hmm.
That is I didn't realize it was different. So I want to. You guys are from different parts of the country a little bit, as am I. What do you call the end piece of a loaf of bread?
The end piece of a loaf of bread.
Like the very end. It's got all the crust on it.
I call it the end piece.
Call it the butt.
You call it the butt. Okay, so and you're from St. Louis, and St. Louis is in the butt region.
Yeah, we're the butt region. Well, see, I know people like, there's a lot of those, obviously. So like in the South, do you hear people call it a buggy when you talk about a shopping cart? I've heard people call it a buggy.
But the end piece of bread to me, I've always referred to it as the heel.
I've heard the heel, but I'm serious. When I grew up, it was the end piece. That's all I knew.
You guys didn't have a name for it?
No.
But you guys are not creative at all up there.
No, the end piece.
Yeah,
piece
so
a lot of people threw away.
But I just learned that down here in the South, they call it the butt. I had never heard it referred to as the butt, and it surprises me that St. Louis is in the butt region of that. I would have guessed it was
Usually
more
you
heel
can
region.
Insert joke here.
Usually you can sort of separate them north versus south, right?
Yeah,
most of those.
But I didn't.
So is butt south to you?
Yes, absolutely. Because I was Norris and Margaret were the ones that were telling me that they've always called it the butt. Like they were shocked when I said it was the heel. But I was stunned to hear somebody call it the butt. But St. Louis is, so the dividing line apparently is north of St. Louis then.
Well, I can tell you where I come from. There was no name for it. It was the end piece. It's a loaf of bread, and that was the end piece.
That's just ridiculous.
The butt.
You have to have a name for it.
The butt.
There has to be some name for it.
Well,
see now, okay, so here's Mike Brewer, who's from down here. He says he's always called it the heel.
All I know is when I get down to one regular piece and the heel, the butt, or the end piece, I eat it. There's a lot of people that throw it away for some reason. I don't waste any of the bread.
It's not fun to eat. I would never eat it now.
As
a kid, I was forced to eat it.
I eat it.
It would be always funny with when we were making sandwiches, like me and my brothers, like the fight to make sure you didn't get the heel of the bread. It was like you did.
Oh, I can see that.
You're like waiting. You're like, okay, when's my? Okay, I got to go now because otherwise I'm going to get stuck with the heel. And Mom was not going to allow us to throw away the heel of the bread. Like sometimes I would really quickly grab the bag from the bread and just wad it up and throw it in the garbage, and the heel was in there. She never knew that I actually threw it away. If you could get away with that, you would do it. But if you got caught doing that, you were going to be in a lot of trouble. So it was a big risk to take. But yeah, there used to be battles to make sure you didn't get stuck with the heel of the bread.
Man, you guys, the Savoie brothers were hellraisers, for goodness sakes.
The thing was, especially if you were going to make an extra, if you were making two sandwiches, if you got stuck with the end, the very end of one loaf of bread, then you opened up the new loaf of bread. You had to use the heel to start that one. So you're going to get stuck with two heels. If you got stuck with two heels, that's that's the worst loss in history.
It's not like the piece at the end of the loaf tastes like metal or something. It was fine.
It's all crust. It's not
cares?
Good. It's not nearly as good as a regular piece of bread.
It's not my preference, but if I happen to go in, there's the loaf of bread. Oh, my gosh, I'm down to the end, and I got one regular piece and the end. I'm not going to have the half sandwich or the one piece of bread. I'm going to use the.
Well, but if you have another loaf of bread, are you getting rid of the heel and opening up a new one and getting rid of that heel and getting two good pieces of bread?
Maybe, but that heel will eventually be eaten. I'll put it in the toaster. Put some butter on it.
Oh, my God. A toasted heel is the worst thing in history.
Oh, come on. You make it sound like it tastes different. It's the
crust.
Same,
You're just
the same loaf.
No, that's that. You cannot toast the heel at all. That is absolutely uncalled for. You cannot toast the heel of a loaf of bread.
I didn't know the Savoie boys were prissy, that they really were worried about a piece of bread that may not be the same as the rest of the loaf, but still is baked in that same loaf. Still has the same qualities.
No, it doesn't have the same qualities.
It does.
It's all crust.
The crust is just the one side.
The
crust is just the one side. The other side is the regular bread.
Gabe, did you eat
to this day throw them away. I do not eat them.
All right.
Yeah.
The butt.
All right, so we've got heel. I'm from Memphis, heel. Lived here my whole life, always known as the heel. So I am right. I was trying to tell people that I was right this morning, and they act like I was crazy. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just a Southern thing. But everybody here in Memphis calls it the heel.
If there is anybody listening that hails from where I come from, the Northeast, please tell me if there was a name for it, because it was always the end of the loaf, the last piece in the loaf, the end piece. It was never the heel.
That's a lot of verbiage to describe what that is.
It was just the end of the loaf,
like
the end piece.
That's what you come up with a name for.
It was not a heel. It was not a butt. All right.
That's more ridiculous than anything
Now that
else.
we haven't settled anything.
That's more ridiculous than eating it, is calling it the end piece.
Well, you guys may want to report the heel or the butt to the Tennessee Health Department because, according to you guys, it's nasty and you shouldn't eat it. But speaking of the state of Tennessee Health Department, they recently announced a reduced capacity recommendation for large gatherings, including games held at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. In addition, 6 feet of separation must be maintained between groups of guests. But this is good news if you are thinking whether or not the fans will be there from the beginning. In the state of Tennessee, it looks like the green light is there. It doesn't mean it will be a green light when the season starts. It said, based on these projected requirements and a need to create necessary social distancing, we are currently anticipating that we may, and this is the University of Memphis speaking now, we may only be able to provide ticket accommodations to season ticket holders. Priority will be given to fans who have purchased or started a payment plan for season tickets by June 30th. We do not currently anticipate any single game tickets for the 2020 season. Again, they don't anticipate any single game tickets. Now, as Steve Macy has told us a million times, you could start that purchase of season tickets. Now, let's say it's 50% capacity, and they got over, 57 and change at Liberty Bowl Stadium?
I believe it's 59, just over. I can't remember.
Let's just say, I know it's not as high as 60 anymore, but let's say it's 60 just for round numbers. So 30,000 would be 50% capacity. I don't think they'll get 30,000 or more season ticket holders, but let's say they did. They can't get them all in there. Then there's ways to have your money reimbursed or to put towards the 2021 season. So don't think you're going to lose the money. But if you don't start the process of season tickets or already have done so, you are not going to be in the mix. And again, this is June 10th we're talking, but right now, according to the State of Tennessee Health Department, with the University of Memphis and their decision, it looks like we will have people in the stands. Some people in the stands starting in September for the 2020 season, assuming there's no major breakdown, and we go the opposite way with COVID-19. And again, numbers around the country, not in all the states, but in some states, is up. And casualties, a few more than, you don't want any, but a few more than was anticipated. But then again, this is the break. This, they say, is the result of Memorial Day, kind of what we're seeing now. And then in a couple weeks from now, we're really going to pay attention to those numbers because that will be from the protests and things of that nature. So a lot of people getting out more. Those numbers are expected to also go up a little bit. But as long as it's not going back to where it was when we started this thing, it looks like there's going to be some fans in the stands. Not every state, but in Memphis and in the state of Tennessee, there will be.
Yeah, I think this policy is probably going to be pretty much the standard across college football this year, is that you get season tickets. We're going if at all possible, we're going to find a way to get you in. But I'm going to guess there aren't going to be a whole lot of teams or universities who sell single game tickets this year.
Right.
It's going to just be, we're going to take care of what we can from season ticket holders, and that's it. Then we know our number every game. We can devise a plan to try and seat them properly, all of that. But we're not going to be doing single game tickets unless things completely change and suddenly the percentage of capacity that they can have goes way up. But Ole Miss, we'll talk to Keith Carter coming up in about an hour. But they've released a thing saying that while they hope to have a full Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, basically, if you want to get into games, you better get your season tickets because it's probably going to be season ticket holders.
And here are the 4 options if the season is disrupted, if we have this second wave come fall. Transfer the value of the affected game tickets to a charitable Tiger Scholarship Fund donation. Transfer the value of the affected game tickets to Tiger Scholarship Foundation as a non-charitable donation towards TSF priority seating balances. Keep the value of the affected game tickets in the ticket office as a credit towards a future purchase, which is what I was talking about for 2021 season tickets, or request a full refund of the affected game tickets. So again, if you're a Tigers fan and you want to be a season ticket holder and you haven't done so already, don't worry about losing. You're not going to lose the money. That's not going to happen. But again, if you don't do this, you are not going to be able to walk up the day of the game and buy a season or a single game ticket. They are not anticipating that. That's basically what they're saying to you. Now, the big question is, and again, we got a ways to go. We're only sitting here on June 10th. Tiger fans out there listening to this show, and you do this via the First Bank text line, are you afraid to go to the games? Are you going to be, and this is really reaching out to people who buy season tickets or buy tickets and normally go to Tigers games, are you still hesitant, or will you go to the games? And again, they're going to do the 6 feet apart deal. I guarantee you there'll be hand sanitizer stations and things of that nature. Probably masks will have to be used. But are you on June 10th anticipating going to the games or not? So you can text in at 67129.
I do wonder about the mask situation because, I mean, people obviously at games are eating and drinking things. I wonder what the policies will be around the country as far as masks are concerned.
Well, I'll give you an example. Again, this is not the same thing, but I was on a plane with 160 people, 180 people, and this was American Airlines. They mandated you wear masks, but there were people that weren't wearing masks because some people have underlying issues where they can't wear a mask. Now, there's no way to prove that in American Airlines. Just you got to take your word for it. So you go in there without a mask. Some people are just kind of making that political statement here. We're not going to wear the mask, but some didn't. A lot of people did. They don't serve. Wait. Let me finish. They don't serve drinks. They don't serve food, but you can bring it onto the plane. So I had a Diet Coke. So I pull up the mask. I take a sip. I put the mask down. That's basically what I did. So in the stands, you got a mask on. You pick up the mask, you take a drink, you have a cheese nacho or whatever you can eat. I don't even know if the concourse will be open for business as far as food. But that's what you have to do. I don't think it will be a situation where it's just 30,000, 50% capacity, nobody's wearing masks. I don't believe that'll be the case. I'm sorry, what were we going to say?
Well, I mean, an airplane is much tighter quarters than an outdoor football stadium is the point. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't think masks will be mandated, but I don't know. I'll be interested to see what different places do as far as that is concerned when you talk about an outdoor stadium.
It is, yes, it's absolutely tighter. But even if you have 30,000 people and you have, at the end of the game, all these people making a beeline to the bathroom, you're in close quarters, trying to leave at the same time unless they have all of a sudden this elementary school fire drill type process where you go out in sections. There's going to be people shoulder to shoulder, just like there are with the people protesting. Thousands and thousands of people shoulder to shoulder. So even though it's not compact like a plane and it's in an open area, it's still a lot tighter than you hope in this day and age of 6 feet separation. So
if they do not mandate them, are you going to stand outside the stadium and shame anybody not wearing one?
No, that's your prerogative, man. If you want to wear it, it didn't bother me that people weren't wearing their masks on the plane.
Oh, it bothered you. You are Mr. Mask Police.
No, I'm not. I'm Mr. Go onto the golf course when it's closed and steal money from the city police, but I'm not as far as the mask is concerned. When I go to Kroger,
By the way, did you see the article
on.
in the paper the other day that said that they actually told people who live in those neighborhoods that they could go play? While they were closed.
I did not know that, but I'm sure it was much more than people just in that neighborhood. I didn't know that. No, I had no idea. I guess that's a nice gesture.
Because they had the article about the guy who went out there and dug up all of the tee markers, the original tee markers that were out there. And he was one of the people that played when it was closed. And they said, they told basically people that lived in that area, in that neighborhood, that while it was closed, they could go out and play.
Perhaps that's why I didn't get a response when I texted an individual who would know.
When you called the police on them?
No, it wasn't the police.
When you tried to call the police on everybody out there and have them kicked off the place, or when you got your megaphone and stood out there in Walnut Grove yelling at everybody? You're right in the middle of their backswing.
No. I just thought,
Get
what are they
doing?
doing?
Course and put a mask on.
If they're closing the course should be closed, but they're letting people in the neighborhood go out there and play. It defeats the purpose. That doesn't make any sense. All right, when we come back, speaking of not making sense, not having a Major League Baseball season would not only not make sense, it would be just an absolute disaster. We will discuss the latest proposal by the Major League Baseball Players Association, plus a little bit more on the University of Memphis, Penny Hardaway recruiting, and Moussa Cisse. Where do things stand with that? This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Eat well and stay healthy with Sweetgrass Next Door's to-go and delivery service. From shrimp and grits to pork chops to chocolate chip cookies and more, feed your need. Located in the heart of Cooper Young Midtown, Sweetgrass Next Door makes for an easy to-go, pickup, and delivers to all of Midtown, most of downtown, and even East Memphis locations. For more information, visit online sweetgrassmemphis.com or call 901-278-0278 to place your order today.
Foot odor throwing off your game? Stick to a winning game plan with Odor Eaters. Featuring 3 advanced odor and wetness fighters, the lineup provides long-lasting odor control plus more to keep your feet on their game. Odor Eaters powder provides outstanding moisture control. Clear drying spray is the MVP in preventing athlete's foot, while insoles work continuously to manage wetness while adding a layer of comfort. Pick up today at Walmart, Target, CVS, Dollar General, or other fine retailers. Odor Eaters. Destroy foot odor with the best in odor defense.
This Father's Day, give Dad the gift of style with an Untuck It shirt. Untuck It has reimagined the traditional dress shirt to fit a more casual lifestyle. With over 50 sizes, they can fit any body out there. Shop their button-downs, polos, Henleys, and more. Visit untuckit.com and help Dad look sharp even at his most casual. Or visit one of their 50 stores that are now reopened for business. Use code SUMMER for 20% off your next order with free shipping and returns. Untuckit.com, the place to go this Father's Day. Code SUMMER.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Oh, my stomach.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Try new Pepto-Bismol chews. The same fast relief of Pepto-Bismol, now in a delightful chew.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
So, got a couple of texts here talking about the football games.
Wait, before you do that, CJ says it's the butt.
CJ
heard
guy.
he's put his foot down. It's the butt. And
well,
Zach Boyd, yes, the butt.
Clearly, that's
the butt.
That's a wrong answer. I mean, that's clearly wrong. Like, there's not one other person who has texted in who called it anything other than the heel, other than one who said it's called the bun.
All the live people in the station call it the butt, though.
It's the butt.
No, it is not. It is not the butt. You guys are wrong. You're clearly wrong. I thought it was a part of the country thing, but clearly the people, all these people from Memphis, one from Alton, Illinois, which is right by St. Louis, they say they called it the heel. So it's not a St. Louis thing. It's called the heel, and you guys are all wrong.
Well,
you need to change your ways.
There's something about Missouri with the heel.
With the St. Louis, we don't claim anything in Illinois. We don't need to claim anything in Illinois. We'll take the Missouri side of St. Louis.
Okay, well, then I just got to find somebody else from the state of Missouri that will prove that you're wrong.
See, you guys all have to make up names in the Midwest and the South. That's why we're so intelligent in the North, man. We just say it's the end piece.
Intelligent, yes. Calling it the end piece.
That's what it is. It's the end piece. It's the last piece in the loaf. It's the end piece.
You can have an end piece of anything.
It doesn't. Yes, sure.
So,
why
a
not?
long piece of meat. I mean, you have an end piece of anything.
So do you call it the butt or the heel on a big sirloin? Do you?
What?
He's saying on anything could be the end piece. I said, so what do you call A big
So when
piece
you
of-
have the chance to make a distinction, you make that distinction, right?
You say the end piece. You say the end piece, right? I don't want the end piece, man. It's cooked too well. It's the end piece. You don't say it's the heel. You don't say it's the butt. Now there's a part of meat called the butt, right? A certain cut of meat.
Different parts of the country call it's either pop or soda or Coke. You guys, I assume, called it a carbonated beverage.
No, we called it by the right name. It was soda.
Carbonated beverage.
It's soda. I will accept in certain regions pop, but in the South, for some stupid reason, they say Coke for everything.
Well, most people in the South say soda.
Do they?
Yes. Pop is a northern thing.
No, it's not. I'm from the North. It's soda.
Pop is northern. I grew up on pop. Everything north is, again, we've determined that where you live is ridiculous.
No, look,
pop is a northern thing.
We've determined that you're from the Midwest. You're not from the North. You're from the Midwest. You guys are just like out there on the farms. You don't count. It's the Northeast, man. It's soda. We set the trends, man. We set the trends.
No, you don't, because you called it an end piece. We've clearly illustrated you don't set any trends because nobody in the world calls it the end piece.
Well, go back to where I come from. Go to Jersey and Pennsylvania, New York.
To do that.
It's an end piece. Well, you're missing out, bud.
I have a feeling that not all of them call it the end piece.
They may not all.
You're in the minority on that one.
They may not all call it the end piece, but it is the end piece. And again, the soda down here, I have so many people that say, "Hey, get me a Coke." You get them a Coke, and it's like, "No, I wanted a Mountain Dew." Like, what the hell's that? What does that mean? They call it soda. They do. All right, read these texts about the University of Memphis.
One person says, if you have people passing out at games now and it's 105, what's it going to be like when they have a mask on?
Well, that's a great point, although let me tell you something. I've worn the mask now a number of times. It's very uncomfortable. It takes a while to get used to it. But you still can breathe. You still can breathe in the mask. If you can't breathe, then people are dying.
Somebody says, I will go to the games, not wear a mask, going to drink beer, eat, and cheer.
Is there anybody that's not going to go or don't plan at this point to go to the games? 67129. First Bank text line, 67129. Memphis fans are tough. I really do believe that there won't be too many that'll stay at home because of fear. I really believe if they can get out there, they will get out there. That's just my feeling on that. All right.
Well, if you're, I wonder how many people who normally have bought, maybe go to a game or two, they buy single game tickets for a game or two. They like Memphis football, but they're not a season. Somebody's going to buy season tickets because they just don't feel like they could go to every game. I wonder, with the idea of you're going to have a season ticket to get in, will they upgrade and say, you know what, yeah, we'll buy season tickets for this year, and maybe we still only go to a game or two, but we can then let somebody else use our tickets for other games or whatever. I wonder how many of those the kind of upgrades they'll get to season tickets just because that's the only way you're going to be able to go to games.
Right. There'll be some that'll certainly do that. There'll be maybe others who can't go to all the games and they'll split the cost, although it's not real costly, the Memphis tickets, compared to some of these other schools, especially in the SEC, but they may split the cost with somebody and they go to 3 of the home games and the other people go to 3 of the home games as well. But again, Memphis is laying it out there now for you, okay? This is not the best case scenario. They don't want it to be this way, but right now, as they said, they are anticipating no single game ticket sales. So in September and October, when it comes around and you're trying to buy a single ticket and you're wondering, why can't I do that? Just remember what they said back in June. No single game ticket sales. At least that's the anticipation right now. It could change, though, just like everything could change. They could decide all of a sudden.
It might change
no
mid-season.
Fans.
It could change a little bit mid-season if things are going well or whatever.
Exactly.
And they say all of a sudden that now you can have more fans in the stadium. Well, then maybe they go the season single game tickets for the last couple or whatever.
Right.
But, it is going to be basically a week-to-week thing. But I would not plan on being able to buy single game tickets at any point this year.
According to reports, Penny Hardaway has offered 5-star sophomore Justice Williams and also offered his AAU teammate, Jalen Duren. So Memphis in the mix on a number of sophomores out there and juniors out there for the future. As far as the present is concerned, all eyes are on the young man from Lausanne, Moussa Cisse. And I continue to get more information from some people that are in the know. And I'm not going to sit here and say I know for sure and they know for sure. But all of a sudden, the narrative is flipped to where now my best guess would be he's coming to the University of Memphis. And again, don't quote me on this. I'm not saying that's absolutely going to happen. But I thought for sure this guy was headed to LSU.
Are you going crystal ball on us?
No, I'm just telling you from some of my sources, some of my contacts, they think that it's going to be Memphis. Now, I wouldn't put any stock in any of these young people because they change their minds all the time. And there's a lot of influencers in their lives. So I don't know what the ultimate decision will be or when that decision will be made because he put it off. But he's a terrific young man. He's intelligent as heck. He's a great basketball player. He led Los Angeles State Championship. He would be a tremendous get for any school. And for Memphis, the class that's coming in, you got the transfers. There's not a lot. There's a lot coming back, but you lose your best player in Precious Achiuwa. Again, you stock up with young players, but you bring in a transfer like, was it DeAndre Williams? And Ahmad Rand, the junior college transfer. So you're getting guys with more experience now to go with these younger players on the roster who are a year older. And so if they do get Musa, another freshman that'll be called upon to be one of your better players. But I hope it's Memphis. I think LSU is certainly not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. You never count out Calipari in Kentucky and Florida State, a great relationship he has reportedly with Leonard Hamilton. But again, I'm hearing that maybe it's Memphis.
If they could get Musa, and then if both DeAndre Williams and Landers Nolly could both get waivers and be eligible immediately, then you look at that roster, and that's pretty stacked.
Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot about Landers Nolly Jr., but that's another transfer and another experienced player along with Williams and the junior college transfer, Ahmad Rand. So, yeah, that's a stacked team if you're able to get that. I'm still, right now, if you're a betting man, what are the odds that the NCAA would grant that for the University of Memphis? You don't feel good about it. But hopefully, I think Williams really has a good case. And I think Nolly's case is not too bad either. But Williams, that one I think should be in Memphis's favor. But I just don't know with the NCAA. Major League Baseball Players Association has made another proposal to the owners, talking 89 games or around that number, with an expanded playoff, 16 teams in the playoff, full prorated pay. And what I'm hearing is, again, it's not going to be enough.
The owners are not going to give full prorated pay. I mean, and especially not at 89 games. Like if they're going to do that, then the games are going to have to be completely reduced down to probably a 50-game schedule. I mean, the owners have pretty much made it clear that is not going to happen. They're not going to do the full prorated play when you're doing it without fans. And it amazes me that the players continue to think like that they shouldn't have to give in at all on that. Because the agreement was made in March about prorated pay was on the idea that you could have fans at games. There's a huge difference between games being played with fans and games being played without fans as far as the revenue generated. So for the players to think, oh, no, you told us in March we were going to get prorated pay just based on the number of games we play, so that's what you should give us. It just, like, the unwillingness to give at all on that is really amazing to me.
Well, the trust factor is just horrible between the two groups, and especially the players towards the ownership. They don't believe the ownership. They don't believe that even without fans that they're going to take a bath. Even with games cut from 162 to 90 that they're going to take a bath. They think these guys have money, that they print money, hand over fist, and that they are lying about the bottom line. And so that's that trust factor. It's not there, which makes it extremely hard. You have to give in. The players are being greedy. They're absolutely being greedy. And I've always been ownership for the most part. But I think a give and take is what's important in any negotiation. You have to have some give and take. And I think right now there's just too much taking on the side of the players or wanting to take. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to end up having a season. It just doesn't look like we're going down that path. And they have to decide here pretty soon. Because you're not going to wait till mid-July to decide that we're going to have a season and then start practicing and camps in end of July or halfway through August. And they want to stay on the same postseason timetable. They're not going to extend the season into December, play baseball World Series games in the snow. It's already been extended. So that does not look good.
Well, the owners absolutely want it done. The players keep doing this November thing, but the owners do not want to extend it into November, and TV doesn't want it extended. They want to get it done. They'd like to get it done in October as well. Mm-hmm. But it's the players are trying to do it. The players just want to trying to get as many games in as they can, because they say, well, if that's more money for us, because we just keep saying full prorated salary, so we're just gonna play as many games as possible. And if they're not gonna come off of that, then to me, if there is a season, I don't think it'll be more than 50 games. And what is a 50-game season?
Right.
out of 162, you end up playing 50 of them. Good luck trying to figure out that schedule, and then that's just ridiculous.
Well, you have an ace go down early where he misses a month. It's going to be impossible to recover from that in a 50-game schedule. So you could have some craziness, which is always fun, but it's not fair. It really isn't. But it's not fair to Major League Baseball fans to not have a season at all.
Bill DeWitt Jr., Cardinals owner, was on the radio in St. Louis. He made some interesting comments. I can't find the full transcript of what he said, but one of his things he said is the industry isn't very profitable, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I thought that was ludicrous. That went the complete opposite. Now, if he wants to talk about just strictly this year and the issues, yes, but overall for St. Louis, for the Cardinals, come on.
Well, one of the things he did say, and he's correct, he said Major League Baseball players have it better than every other league.
Okay.
And he said that's one of the reasons all these other leagues can come to agreements easily, because it is a profit. It's a revenue sharing system, so it's just based on how much revenue is generated. That's going to determine. The players in baseball absolutely refuse to do that, and it's this big fight because the baseball players, because they've always been given more, want to continue to get more.
Yes, he's right about that, but don't think for a second that it's not a profitable industry. They wouldn't be owners. They wouldn't be in the business if it wasn't profitable. Again, take this year out of the equation. But his point about the players is correct.
Profitability for these teams, I would think it's still pretty good. But the main thing where these owners are making so much money is just the value of these franchises in every sport continues to absolutely skyrocket. So regardless of if you're not making a ton of money year to year, just from what you bought your organization at whenever you bought it, and basically in any sport, you could see it right here with the Grizzlies, who don't make any money, but just look at where they are now value-wise compared to where they started when Robert Parra bought it.
Yeah, it's pretty impossible to have a ownership stake in a major sport, a franchise in a major sports league, and have the value go down, be devalued. That's not happening. But as far as profitable, not every team. But when you look at the big teams in Major League Baseball, and the Cardinals are certainly one of them, even though they're not in a major market, the fan base that they bring in, over 3 million, whatever it is.
Best fans in baseball, just
every year. The Yankees, their local television package, the money that they're making, the Red Sox, on and on and on, your Cubbies. It's a profitable industry. I would disagree with that statement just as it is by Bill DeWitt, but his point about the players is correct. A couple other things before we take a timeout. Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports made a comment yesterday. I'm switching gears going to the NFL here. He said on a tweet, at this point, it's almost a foregone conclusion that the NFL behind the scenes will tell a team, not ask a team, will tell a team to sign Colin Kaepernick. I had asked you last Thursday with 2.5 questions about whether Kaepernick would be signed by a team. I think your answer was no. What about this comment by Sterling? I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you force a team to do so. But if Cap is coming back, where do you guys think would be the most likely landing spot?
I have no idea. I don't think it's going to happen. So I just don't think you're going to get a team.
See, my thoughts the Raiders
that will take him.
My thoughts the Raiders.
Why Raiders?
Well, I don't know if they're enamored with Derek Carr. Who's the backup now? Who did they bring in? Did they draft somebody?
Mariota.
Oh, they brought Mariota in, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking more
that.
Seahawks, if anything. You have a fan base that would be fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a guy in Pete Carroll who knows how to manage people for the most part. Obviously, USC was a little different. That was college. But
good choice.
And I think that sort of fits Colin Kaepernick's style, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to break out of the pocket and get on the run and make plays off schedule. Stuff
I think that's a great point. And there are some owners that you think there's no way this would happen. But it's all different now, so I would not be surprised. Again, I don't know how you can force somebody to do it, but just behind closed doors talking to ownership going, hey, listen, we need this PR, and it's all going to be positive now if we bring him in. So put your hands up. Who's willing to take him?
On that is, and I guess maybe it would be just because it's if he wants the money or whatever. But does Kaepernick want to go somewhere where he knows like there's absolutely no chance whatsoever of being a starting quarterback?
I wonder. That's a great question. But now, wouldn't he just want, after all these years, to be back in the NFL? He's still going to be able to make his political statement. He's not going to be a starter. He has to realize that. But I don't know where he's making all his money. And to be able to at least get back into the NFL, he's still relatively young. I don't know. I think that he would be happy to be in the National Football League. But then again, I don't know if he's happy about anything. So we'll see if Lee Sterling's thoughts via a tweet come to fruition in the National Football League. When we come back, the PGA Tour is back. Resumes with the Charles Schwab Challenge. Later we'll have the resumption, our debut this season of our four-man scramble. We'll make our picks. But there's going to be a lot of changes to the broadcast and the way that they're going to honor George Floyd. Plus, this Sunday, the first of 2 parts of the 30 for 30 documentary on ESPN called Long Gone Summer. It's the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire story. What do you think about when you think of those times in the late 90s and the home run challenge between those two, the height of PED use, even though at that point it had not exploded? They were heroes. They were loved. What were your thoughts on that? And it's something I'm certainly anticipating watching, and I'm sure a lot of people are as well. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hertz. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 FM.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Visit Frontier Western Store this Father's Day for the perfect gifts for Dad. From now until Father's Day, you'll save big on the classic Carhartt K87 short sleeve tee. Get 2 for $25. Frontier carries every color they make, including this year's brand new colors. All sizes are in stock and on sale, small to 4X. All Carhartt Force t-shirts are 25% off too. This hard-working cotton blend wicks away sweat, resists stains, and has a relaxed fit, giving Dad plenty of room to move. Save big on Force at 25% off. Also, all men's pants and jeans, $5 off. Wrangler, Carhartt, and Ariat. Every pair of khakis, jeans, dungarees, and even FR workwear, $5 off. All Carhartt shorts are 25% off too. While you're there, grab Dad some boots. You know he'd love a new pair. Frontier has thousands of boots in stock at amazing everyday low prices. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Foot odor throwing off your game? Stick to a winning game plan with Odor Eaters. Featuring 3 advanced odor and wetness fighters, the lineup provides long-lasting odor control plus more to keep your feet on their game. Odor Eaters powder provides outstanding moisture control. Clear drying spray is the MVP in preventing athlete's foot, while insoles work continuously to manage wetness while adding a layer of comfort. Pick up today at Walmart, Target, CVS, Dollar General, or other fine retailers. Odor Eaters. Destroy foot odor with the best in odor defense.
You get into bed and find your mind still going? If so, try ZzzQuil Pure Z's liquid melatonin. It's made with an optimal level of melatonin for no next day grogginess. Pure Z's liquid melatonin, because sleep is a beautiful thing, at stores now.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Let's do it.
Let me drop it on the one. It's the Fat Mac. Dope like an 8-ball. That's why
the PGA Tour resumes this week, starting on Thursday with the first round of the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial. From a broadcasting standpoint, Jim Nantz will be in the tower at Colonial, but the analysts, Ian Baker Finch, Nick Faldo, others, will be in Orlando with their commentary. There will be 2 on-course reporters, including friend of the show, Dottie Pepper, but a limited amount of broadcasters, a limited amount of production people for the broadcast of this golf tournament. Also, they are going to pay homage to George Floyd. At 8:46, there will not be a tee time. So nobody's teeing off at 8:46. And they will have a moment of silence in his honor.
Yeah, that's a cool thing that they're doing with that. You're leaving that tee time open at 8:46. The Korn Ferry Tour is going to be doing the same thing at their event as well. So a nice gesture there by the PGA Tour, and obviously Harold Varner III, who is an African American golfer on the PGA Tour, has been very outspoken about things, and so I think it's a really cool move.
Yeah, yesterday we were talking about NASCAR and what they plan to do, and Bubba Wallace is going to have the Black Lives Matter car in play this weekend at Martinsville. I think they are this weekend. Also,
they have a race tonight, isn't it tonight? Do they have a race tonight?
That's right. They race on Wednesdays now, too, don't they?
I think it's tonight.
Is it tonight? Yeah, I'm so used to once a week, but, man, they have jammed a lot of races in.
I don't know why I know that, but I just feel like I heard somebody say that he was using that car on Wednesday, and I remember thinking, like, Wednesday? And I'm like, oh, that's right. Okay, I guess they're still racing twice a week.
I completely forgot about that. So I mentioned before the timeout about the documentary, The 30 for 30, that will start this Sunday and conclude the following Sunday, Long Gone Summer. And it's about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. And, of course, hindsight, the way we look at it now, is a lot different. But everybody was caught up in that. Everybody was caught up with what was happening with Sosa and McGwire and the home run chase. And then subsequently the downfall of everything with the PEDs and Major League Baseball and their reaction to it, when most people believe that they just turned a blind eye and a deaf ear to what was going on in baseball. It was as popular as it ever was. What are your thoughts when you think about now in 2020 of Sosa and McGwire and everything that went on at that time?
Well, for me, I mean, I was right in the middle of it because I was in St. Louis at the time as a Cubs fan, so it was a little different. But the funny thing for me that I always think about when I think of that year is at that time, I was working at KFNS in St. Louis, and I worked in the mornings and would get off work at noon. And oftentimes, whenever the Cardinals had their 12:35 matinee games, people, season ticket holders who had to work or whatever, couldn't go to those day games, they would often call the station and say, "Hey, I've got a couple of tickets for today's game. If somebody there wants to use them, or if you guys want to give them away or whatever, you could do that." And they would always call in the morning, and I'd always be the one that answered the phone. So I'd say, "Hey, if I could go to the game, I'd always take the tickets." I went to, I would guess, probably 10 or 11 Cardinal games that year.
Wow.
And I went up to Chicago to 2 Cubs games. I never saw McGuire or Sosa hit a home run. Sosa didn't even play. The 2 games I went to Chicago that year, I think Sosa missed 3 or 4 games all year. He missed the 2 games I went to. He was out with an injury, and that was the very end of May. And then, of course, he had the unbelievable month of June following. He missed those 2 games, and then he came back, I think, the next day. Then I think that was the last day of May. Then he had the 20 home run June that got him going into the race, all that stuff. And again, I went to probably at least 10 Cardinal games. And McGuire played, but I never saw him hit 1 home run live.
What season was that again?
98.
That's what I thought, 98. So, Gabe, you were 3?
Yes, sure was.
You remember it well, don't you?
Yeah, as well as I could.
When you got a little bit older.
Yeah, I recognized what was done. I remember I went to a sort of right in the middle of the steroid era. I went to a game in San Francisco. Saw Sammy Sosa hit an opposite field home run into McCovey Cove.
Do you think McGuire was once everything came out about the PEDs and the glory of that year and those 2 guys started to dissipate and, in fact, go the opposite way with people just lambasting them, do you think it was worse for McGuire in St. Louis or Sosa in Chicago? Eli?
The what?
The reaction, the negative reaction from the fans around baseball. Was it more for McGuire in St. Louis or Sosa in Chicago? So I guess I'm asking you, locally in both those cities, what was their reaction? I'm asking you to judge for everybody, but just what you saw. And then what do you think it was nationally about those 2? Were they treated the same way? Was one looked at a worse culprit than the other?
During that season?
No, after the steroid thing exploded. Balco and all that stuff.
I mean, Sammy Sosa has, the Cubs have not welcomed Sammy Sosa back. Sammy Sosa has never been back in the
there you go.
And, it's like he.
There's the answer.
They basically have banished Sammy Sosa. They have not welcomed him back at all. He has not been to games. They've not done anything for him, about him, at all. I mean, it's not even close.
And then the flip side of that is Mark McGuire was the Cardinals' hitting coach.
Yeah.
Right.
When Matheny was
right.
there.
Right.
Yeah, McGuire is welcomed back with open arms in St. Louis. Sosa, there's still a lot of people that are hoping that someday, and he even with this whole thing, he's been speaking and he said that, time heals all wounds. He hopes that at some point that he'll be welcomed back in, but they have not been. I mean, Sammy Sosa is. We see Reggie Bush today getting reinstated by USC, basically. Sammy Sosa has yet to be reinstated by the Cubs. They still have never welcomed Sammy Sosa back at all.
Why do you think it's that way in Chicago as opposed to what it was in St. Louis with McGuire?
They use some excuses about something. I don't even know what exactly all their reasoning is. I mean, this is a different ownership group that was in place there, and there are some excuses they use, but it's ridiculous, the fact that they have not had him back there, and his number should be retired. I mean, it's absolutely asinine what the Cubs have done with Sammy Sosa and acted like. I mean, he was the team for basically a 10-year stretch. He was the dude averaged over like a 5-year stretch, like 55 home runs a year. He was the only reason to go watch the Cubs at all, because a lot of those teams were terrible other than Sammy Sosa. Like he was that franchise for a long stretch, and to act like that you could just turn your back on that is ridiculous.
Exactly, and that's where we've had arguments with people before on the show. I know we've had it with Don Wade about the steroid use, but I mean, it was what it was back then. Nobody knew what was going on, and baseball was fun. I'm not saying that's the way it should always be. It shouldn't be, but at that time, Baseball needed that lift, and McGuire and Sosa gave it to them. I'm going to be so interested to watch this 2-part documentary to hear the reaction. The assumption is that they have both been interviewed here recently for this documentary to hear what they have to say now, 22 years after the fact. When we come back, hour 2, we'll kick off with Keith Carter, Ole Miss Athletics Director. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Hi, it's The Herd. We're all faced with new challenges these days. If you need legal help for yours, trust LegalZoom. You want to set up a will, maybe a living trust? How about starting a business as a DBA or an LLC? LegalZoom can help there too. You can start online. Their network of attorneys can provide advice when you need it. And since LegalZoom is not a law firm, you don't get charged by the hour. Visit LegalZoom.com for more information. Their site has it all. Trust LegalZoom.
From faulty breakers to broken windows to leaky pipes, roofs, and water heaters, homes and businesses around the country can't work until the pros do. That's why Lowe's created credit programs that work for pros. With everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases, plus through October 31st, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or online at lowesforpros.com. Putting money back in your pocket. Just one more reason Lowe's is the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me for Sidelines, Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1 FM. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, recruiting. Hey, if they keep score, we're covering it. Check us out on the website at sports56whbq.com and sidelines.live. Sidelines is brought to you by Duncan Williams Asset Management. Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. Get up and give us a call.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie. Let's do it.
Well, she was an American girl.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:03 is the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Middays, the Wednesday, June 10th, 2020 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor. That's FedEx. Make the most out of your e-commerce experience by finding insights and inspiration from other small business owners. You can learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. Before we bring Keith Carter on, it has been announced, Eli, that SEC Media Days, as expected, will be virtual like every other conference. I guess they were holding out that they could possibly squeeze it in, but they had to finally say, nope, it's not going to happen. So back to 2021. It'll be interesting if 2021, if it's in Nashville, where I think it's scheduled to be, or it will be, they'll kind of change the schedule around, because I think it was going to be Birmingham this year, right?
Atlanta this year.
Oh, Atlanta this year. So I wonder if just things will be pushed back a year, or whether or not they'll go right to Nashville, I think, which was what the schedule was for next year. Without further ado, he is the athletics director at Ole Miss University. You can follow him on Twitter at Keith Carter OM. Keith Carter joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Keith, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. It's it's tough times all around for everybody. We certainly know that, and it's been certainly a eye-opening last 10 days or so with the Black Lives Matter protests around the country. How's it been at Ole Miss as far as that is concerned, with the student athletes and that are now back on campus? And I know Lane Kiffin led a protest march the other day. What's it been like in Oxford, Keith?
Well, I think it's been good. I think for us, guys, we have feel like we've done a good job of really opening our eyes and giving our student athletes and our staff a platform. And for us, I think that the Unity Walk that we did on Saturday was really good. It was really healthy. And I think, again, it gave our folks a platform to go and speak out against, some things that are really, really wrong going on in our country. And the one thing that we talked a lot about is that, we can put out statements and we can do unity walks, and all of those things are great and awesome. But ultimately, we've got to have action that goes behind that. And so we're doing some things this week. We're doing some listening sessions, one tonight and one tomorrow night, and just trying to put some programming in place that can be consistent as we move forward and become part of our daily routine, and some things that, again, we can have conversations, we can have safe spaces for people to voice their opinions and their feelings. And, for us, it's just, it's a thing that we need to be very intentional about. And I know that the chancellor, myself, all of our coaches, we're really excited about that opportunity to do that and hopefully affect change. Ultimately that's what we're here to do.
Keith, with bringing the student athletes back onto campus, how has that gone, the testing, all of that stuff, and kind of outline a little bit of how you guys are handling it as those student athletes come back onto campus?
Well, I've said it in really every interview that I've done. I got to give a lot of credit to Shannon Singletary, who's he's over health and sports performance here for Ole Miss Athletics. When we first kind of got into the COVID world back in mid-March, I knew that Shannon would be a perfect person to run point from an athletic standpoint with his medical background, and just a really sharp guy. And he's done a tremendous job on that and putting a plan together that we felt very comfortable about. We talked to the chancellor and our health officials on campus about it. They felt comfortable, and ultimately it was bringing back our student athletes in phases, and started with football on June 1 to start the testing. And I think to this point we've tested well over 200 people, including student athletes and staff, and have only had a couple of positive tests, and one staff member and one student athlete. And so. I think the thing that we're most proud of is the fact that, all of our policies and our protocols, have held strong, even with the positives. We knew there were going to be some positive tests, and that's why we had to have the protocols in place for isolation, for contact tracing, so that it wouldn't spread, and it wouldn't be a thing that would shut us completely down. We've isolated those two individuals, and we're continuing to keep going and haven't had any other positive tests to this point. So, obviously, every decision that we make moving forward will start and end with the health and safety of our student athletes and our staff. And again, I'm just very proud of the plan we had in place. And that it held up under pressure. When we did have some positive tests, that we were able to, again, jump into action and put those protocols in place. So we'll continue to be vigilant and continue to work on social distancing. And, as our student athletes on Monday started their voluntary workouts, we've been monitoring those, making sure that those are, adhering to protocols as well. But you can just feel the energy, guys. I mean, people are ready to be back. They're ready to be in these buildings and being around their teammates and doing those type of things. And it really just kind of makes you realize what you're in it for when you see these young people so happy.
It's obviously only June 10th, so we got a ways to go before the college football season is scheduled to kick off. Here in Tennessee, the state of Tennessee Health Department made an announcement today about the recommendation for reduced capacity in the stadiums. Has Mississippi's Department of Health stepped up yet to announce anything similar to that? Where do we stand with fans in the stadium for the fall?
Well, I don't believe we have an official stance on that yet or a recommendation. We are actually working internally here on all scenarios, anywhere from having a full stadium, down to maybe a 25%, capacity in the stadium. So we're trying to figure out every scenario and be ready for those. And obviously, we hope at some point we can, go to state officials and talk about, some things that we feel comfortable with and maybe, help guide them in some of that decision making. Not sure we'll get that opportunity, but would love that. And, for us, again, we're going to make every decision we can based on safety and health. But at the same time, as we get more data and if the data is good, maybe those are some things that we could change along the way. And that's why we want to be ready for every scenario. For example, in the state of Texas, their governor came out and said, 50% capacity was acceptable. But I have a very good feeling that as they get closer to the season, that percentage may go up. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that we're ready for 25%, 50%, all the way up to 100% if things get a lot better before September.
Of course, with the way things are going in Texas right now, I'm not so sure. They've had some bad days here in a row now. That who knows where that might be headed. But one of the questions I continue to get asked every time anybody talks about Ole Miss football is what the heck are they going to do about the Grove? Because that's not exactly set up for social distancing down there. So what are the conversations as far as that setting goes, regardless of how many fans you can actually have in the stadium? How do you try and handle that area?
I thought y'all were only going to ask easy questions today. That's a hard question. It really is kind of a difficult one to really even comprehend. How to wrap your arms around even making decisions around that. With the stadium, obviously it's just a math problem. It's 50%. If it's we need to be 6 feet apart. There's ways we can do that. In the Grove, obviously, there's really no gate around it or fence around it or whatever. So. For us, I think that's something. There have been initial conversations with athletics and campus as we've talked about that. But I'll be honest with you guys, we've been so focused on getting our student athletes and our staff back, really through the month of May, and now that they're starting to come back, we're kind of moving forward with those discussions about stadium and Grove and some of those ancillary things around. The main thing is if we don't have student athletes back healthy and in shape, we can't play the game. And so that was the main thing we were focused on. But certainly the Grove is a big part of our game day tradition and our game day environment. And I've had a lot of those questions from fans and donors and kind of giving them the word sandwich I'm giving you guys right now that we don't have a lot of answers for that right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to ask this next question to Keith because they're all tough questions. I mean, we're in unprecedented times. It's just it's crazy with the pandemic and then obviously with the Black Lives Matter protests. You haven't been on the job for that long, and you're dealing with so many issues. But everybody is across the board. So I'll get back to this real tough one a little bit later on. But I did want to ask you, going back to the plans, you're preparing for every possible scenario in the fall with fans. I would assume then, Keith, you guys have put together some type of plan for season ticket holders and fans if they are unable to go, if the games start and then all of a sudden they say fans can't go to games, as far as reimbursement or putting the money towards next year. And what happens if it's 50% capacity? And I don't know off the top of my head what Vaught Hemingway seats, but how about if you have more season tickets than half of what the attendance would be? So what would you do with all those season ticket holders? How would you deal with that scenario?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually sent out an email to our season ticket holders on Monday, And basically, yes, first and foremost is if we don't play football or if we play a reduced schedule, then all of our donors and our season ticket holders will get an opportunity for a refund based on the games played. They can move their donation or season tickets forward to next year. We had a similar scenario in baseball, obviously, where we only played about a fourth of the season, a third of the season. And we did the exact same scenario there where we refunded folks. Some folks decided just to push it to next year, and some folks just donated it to the department, which was great. But certainly we would do that. I think that the question of if we don't play and kind of where we go from there, that's going to be an interesting one. Just to figure out what that looks like moving forward. But certainly we do have a contingency there, and we want to make sure that if people don't get what they paid for, certainly that we would make them whole.
So Keith, what has it been? Just little over 6 months on the job officially?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, about 7 months. I joined at the end of November.
Yeah, so
officially.
Your training did not. You did not have this in your first year, I guarantee, in your plans of what you were going to do as an athletic director.
No, there's been some interesting things. A week onto the job, and you've got to make a really tough decision with a good friend in Matt Luke, and bring in a new coach, and then COVID hits, and then obviously the terrible events in Minneapolis and other places that have changed our world in the last 10 days or so, 10 or 12 days, and but you know what? I mean that's why we're here. That's why you call it leadership, and that's why you want to be in the chair. And so. I'll admit that I don't think I expected all of this to happen so soon, and really some of just the hard-hitting things that we've had to deal with. But certainly, I think it makes us stronger. We've got a great staff here. We've got great coaches, great student-athletes, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, working through it with them.
You mentioned making the hard decision of letting Matt Luke go, and then, of course, you brought in Lane Kiffin, which was a very popular move amongst the fans. You also at one point had decided to hold off on an extension for Mike Bianco. The baseball team was incredible, and then the season obviously ends abruptly. He's named by one source. We had yesterday, Eli, that
Collegiate Baseball.
Yeah, Collegiate Baseball named Mike the National Coach of the Year. So where do you stand as far as Mike and his contract for the future?
Well, we've had some really good discussions in the last few weeks, and I look back to last year, and again, that was about 2 weeks into the interim role when all of that kind of happened. And at that point, I just felt like it, being in the interim role, I just needed to press pause more than anything, and just kind of assess that situation. And having known Mike for a lot of years, and then the conversations we've had really from last year to this year, and then you see kind of the way the team started and just kind of a new energy that was with that program. And obviously they were playing great, and it felt like they were playing loose and just playing out there and having a great time. And I think that's a big credit to Mike and his staff and the way that he let that group of guys play. And certainly they were being very successful. But here's the deal: Mike Bianco is one of the best coaches in the country, and we're very fortunate to have him. We want Mike to be here a very, very long time and lead our program. And hopefully here in the next few days we can make that official that he's going to be here for a long time.
Keith, one of the things that you guys have done recently that I think will surprise a lot of people, you guys announced a home-and-home football series with South Alabama. And I think people go, wait a second, an SEC team playing a road game at South Alabama. What goes into that? Why that series? And can you kind of explain why you would play that, why you would do that as a home-and-home?
Yeah, I've had that question a lot, and for us, it's one of those things where you got to assess kind of all angles of the schedule and how that affects the budget and how that affects recruiting, and just a lot of different things. And obviously, we've had some really cool matchups home and home with some Power Fives. We made the USC announcement, which is really, really exciting. But as we look at our budgets and ways that we may be able to kind of catch up to some of the larger programs in our conference that have budgets that are, a lot more than ours. To pay a guarantee to a group of five is around, $1.5 to $2 million for them to come to your building and play, to your stadium and play. And so if we can find a way that, we find some attractive locations, some attractive destinations that our donors and fans like to go to, it checks the box from a recruiting area, those type of things. we're going to look to do that maybe a couple of times over a 10-year period where we can, in that given year, instead of paying somebody a guarantee to come in, we're going to go on the road to a group of 5 and try to save that money. And again, try to capitalize on some of those other things too, an attractive location somewhere that our fans want to go and somewhere that we can take the Ole Miss brand into from a recruiting standpoint. So again, not something we're going to make a habit of. We do have one other matchup that's probably going to come out here in the next few weeks. But that's something that, again, not exactly conventional, as you mentioned. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't start seeing a few other SEC schools doing the same, just from a sheer financial standpoint and finding that right matchup that makes sense.
Let me say that makes all the sense in the world what you're doing. The only thing is the negative connotation is Ole Miss is going to go to South Alabama. Forget that. That for all the right reasons, Keith. I think actually that's a brilliant move. Let me ask you about Memphis moving forward down the road in football and basketball. What's your philosophy on? You talk about attractive and close and in proximity to a drive for fans, and a lot of fans here in the city of Memphis that follow and are alums of Ole Miss. What about the future of football and basketball, Ole Miss and Memphis?
Well, first of all, with basketball, I think that one makes a ton of sense. I think that Coach Davis and Coach Hardaway, have a relationship that's kind of long-standing, and they were kind of the catalyst for getting that game going back again. So I'm excited about that one. To me, that one should be a home and home every other year, and let's just keep that one going. For football, I think it's a little more complex than that. Obviously, we had the 2-2, over the past 7 or 8 years where we played 2 here and 2 there. I'm not sure that it's going to work out just based on the way our schedule kind of shakes out over the next several years. But I'm not totally against the conversation. I just think for us that we kind of did that and had that that 4 or 5 year stretch where we had those 4 games, and now we'll kind of look to go in some other directions. But certainly, it was a good matchup. It's a regional matchup. The Memphis program has been extremely strong over the past several years, and for us, it's something that maybe we explore down the road, but probably not in the near future.
Okay,
Keith, with what is going on, obviously, and the financial impact that this all has on the university, on the athletic department, especially for you guys when you consider baseball and what happened there, and who knows what's going to happen with football and the number of fans. Have you guys had to halt any projects or put off any projects that you were going to be doing?
Yeah, really all of our capital projects are on hold right now. And we had one that was just about to go to bid. We have a track locker room project. It's a little over $2 million that was about to go to bid and start construction, basically. We had to stop that one. We really didn't have a lot of other things going at the time. We were kind of in the initial stages of planning some things, obviously with a new coaching staff. And in football, we were going to do some things to that building and then a couple other new coaching staffs as well. So all of those have been put on hold, and I'll be honest, that's probably going to be, except from a maintenance standpoint, obviously you got to make sure your buildings are in good shape and all of those things. But as far as building, new things and capital projects, I have a feeling that's going to be a little slower to come back. Yeah. We've got to figure out, one, are we going to play football? Are we going to, what does that look like? And obviously, as you guys know, that drives everything. So we'll just kind of be nimble and be ready when we can. But we know that these coaches and these student athletes deserve these upgrades, and certainly we want to get back there. But we've got to figure out more on the operational side before we get back into the capital projects game.
He is the athletics director at Ole Miss. He is Keith Carter. You can follow him on Twitter at KeithCarterOM. Keith, thank you so much for carving out some time. Be well. Keep the family safe, and we'll hopefully talk to you sooner than later and see you in person sooner than later.
No doubt. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Take care.
Keith. We're talking he was talking about the Texas and the game they've got down in Houston, and I mentioned that things over the last few days have not gone well in Texas. We did get a text message. The First Bank text line says, I live in South Texas. It's not as bad as it appears. Tests are available everywhere and on demand. Percentage of daily positive tests are actually trending down. The thing I was looking at is for the third, this is a tweet here for the third day in a row, Texas has set a new record for hospitalizations. Texas has now seen hospitalizations increase 42% since Memorial Day.
Wow.
So
that's an alarming number.
Certainly with what this person says, they live down there, and that might be true, yes, that the positive tests are trending down, but if hospitalizations are going up at that rate, and we're talking that's 42% in 2 weeks, basically, that hospitalizations have gone up. That's what you wonder if a trend like that continues. Does Texas have to make some adjustments as far as its reopening goes?
Yes,
because that's the whole thing. If you start overloading the hospitals, that's the whole point of all of this, was to make sure hospitals don't get overloaded. Now, I don't know what percentage that they have, and as far as where compared to capacity of hospitals and all that stuff, but if you're getting that many hospitalizations, that gets scary.
Well, that's the bottom line. You may be asymptomatic. You may test positive, be asymptomatic. You may have some symptoms, but it's more like a normal flu for you, especially for the younger people here in our country. But when you start to get more hospitalizations, like you said, you worry about the beds and how many do they have to accommodate all the people. And if the death rates start to go up, they start to spike, that's when you got to be really concerned. As far as, more people getting tested and testing positive, well, there's a lot of reasons. There's more people out. There's more people that now think it's over, and maybe they're not doing as good a job social distancing. And there's also more testing going on. So that number is understandable. It's the other number, the hospitalization and the death toll, that is really alarming. By the way, with Keith and his philosophy with South Alabama, I absolutely believe that's brilliant. Again, don't think about it as this, oh, man, Ole Miss, if you're an Ole Miss fan, they're going to South Alabama. It's a place to go that's a drive for mostly everybody that's an Ole Miss fan. They go down there to a different venue, and they don't have to shell out the $1.5 million for the one visit from South Alabama. Plus, they feel pretty good that they're going to be successful. Now, I think with the Memphis Tigers fans, they're probably out there thinking, well, it's not that complicated. It's close. It's proximity. It's a rival. But Memphis has won. Memphis has won some games, so maybe you don't want to play Memphis. I could certainly see that point of view from Tigers fans. But to me, it makes a lot of sense that to have that series in the future. I just don't know, as Keith said, if we will have it. Basketball, that's going to happen. We know there's a game this year in Oxford at the Pavilion, but I think that's going to happen for a long time to come. Kermit and Penny have a nice little working relationship. The one thing I didn't get to ask him, and really it probably wouldn't be fair to Keith, it probably needs to be more directed toward the Chancellor, but what about the Confederate flag in Oxford? There's always been the controversy of the Confederate flag, but right now, this time
well, they still have, don't they have a statue on campus, I believe, if I remember correctly?
I thought, I wasn't sure if that was going to be removed. I think they still have a statue on
campus. I want to say they still have one, but I may be wrong, and somebody could confirm that or tell me I'm wrong. I want to say they still have a statue on campus.
What do they, as far as fans are concerned, I don't even know if they can bring flags into the game, but in the Grove, I would imagine there's flags all over the place. Stars and stripes, but also Confederate flags. And again, that is going to be, it's always been controversial, but it is going to be extremely interesting to see what they decide to do. We talk about NASCAR and Bubba Wallace saying that there should be no Confederate flags at NASCAR races. Well, will there be some kind of mandate from the Chancellor at Ole Miss that when you go to the Grove and you party, there is going to be a ban on Confederate flags? I don't know what it is now. I don't know what if there's any kind of thing going on right now, but I would imagine there isn't.
Well, and I, obviously he does it, as he said, he does it. They don't really know yet, but good luck trying to figure out the Grove as far as
social
distancing goes. I don't know how you do anything. I don't know what you can do other than maybe you limit the number of tents, but how you can't. It's easy. There's no fence around you, so people coming in and out. There's no way to monitor that. What people are doing inside there, to me, I don't know anything you can possibly do to try and limit that.
Can you please pass the potato salad and a beer from 6 feet away? Just chuck me the beer. I'll be fine. When we come back, Ed Easley is going to join us, former major leaguer and minor league baseball player, star at Mississippi State, and the director of the Easley Baseball Club. The kids are back. They're playing in a lot of tournaments. What are they doing to protect the kids this summer? Ed Easley is next. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
R&R on Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1. Don't miss us.
I'm John Conway with Conway Services. Do you have to add Freon to your air conditioner every summer? Good news, it's Super Tune-Up time at Conway Services. We'll come out and perform our exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69 with a Freon leak check. That's right, Conway Services exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up for only $69 with a Freon leak check. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. If you have an air conditioner that leaks Freon every year, with Conway Services Super Tune-Up, we'll include a leak check at no charge. If that's not enough, we'll treat your unit with a special Teflon coating to help protect against the hot Memphis sun. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. Call this week and we'll perform your Super Tune-Up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of hand-cut fresh steaks, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Father's Day is coming soon, so make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again,
Our great Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Halfway home on this Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Middays. Greg, Eli, and Gabe in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. They're offering contactless purchasing, deliveries, and curbside pickup. So give them a call to schedule an appointment or place an order. We'll have our 5 favorite songs coming up at 12:05. So make sure to get your 5 in. You can do that via text at 67129. You can also watch us live and message us with those lists at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. At 12:25, it's the season debut of the 4-Man Scramble with Keith Penke and Jay Hasselman. But right now, good friend of the show, former professional baseball player, a standout at Mississippi State, and now the director of the Easley Baseball Club. Ed Easley joining us on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at EdEasley4, and he joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. It's been a while. How you been, Ed?
Doing great, man. It's so good to be back on here and talking baseball.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. The world has changed a lot here in the last few months. We know that, but it's good that you guys have baseball going again. The youth leagues around, not every state, but a lot of the states around the country. But let's start before we get into your baseball club and what's happening with the youth. We have to start with what's not happening with big league baseball, minor league baseball, the impasse between the players and the owners. I'm sure you've been following this. This would be an absolute disaster, would it not, if we don't have any type of baseball season?
Yeah, I think so. And I'll be honest with you, as busy as I've been the last few weeks and couple weeks getting things back going. I haven't been following it as much as I should have, so I'm not going to be able to go into too much depth there. I do have a few friends that are still playing in the minor leagues and the major leagues, and I keep up with them often. And the truth is, they don't have much information. They don't have a start date. They don't know what the plan is. And so, Tony Clark, the head of the players union, is working hard to come up with an agreement with the teams and the owners, and they're just back and forth right now. But yeah, to answer your question, I think they're going to need to come up with a plan and get baseball back going for our just for our area, for our world, for people to get back to some type of normalcy. But I think it is important that they work out some agreement, and it does make sense for both sides.
Ed, why does it seem that there has always been such a contentious relationship between the players' union and the owners?
Well, they just both have. Well, first of all, it's because of the amount of dollars that's being thrown around, and the players that are making and the owners are having to spend. So that's the number one answer, is the financial reason, and so it's hard to argue that. But it's just the dollar. It's agreeing. It's not able to bring as many fans in the stands these days. Maybe if they start back up, so the owners are worried about how they're going to pay the players what they're originally agreed upon, and it's just a big mess right now. But I think they're working very hard. Both sides are, to get it together, and I think we'll see something going soon.
Well, you're right. It all comes down. The bottom line is money. But I think there's a trust factor that's not there with baseball. Whereas with the NBA, I think the players understand the commissioner and that he is trying to do the best he can for them. I don't think they trust Manfred. I don't think they trust ownership. I don't think they believe the finances when they talk about the struggles. And, of course, this year all bets are off with the possibility of no season and even a season without any fans. But wouldn't you say there's a lack of trust, Ed, between the two parties?
Yeah, maybe so. And it just goes back to maybe the ordeal with the Astros and how some things were handled and players not agreeing with some of the leadership there on the baseball side. But, again, that's different people have different opinions. I'm out of the game. I sit back and enjoy watching it nowadays and just hope for the best and hope we can see some baseball on TV soon, no doubt.
It's interesting because we were talking earlier that this weekend, this Sunday, is the debut of the 30 for 30 about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire in the summer of 1998, which is largely credited for bringing kind of baseball back after the strike in 94. If they don't have a season this year and it turns some fans off, do you think there are fans that'll be mad enough that that they will be done with baseball?
I don't think so. I think they definitely are going to be mad and frustrated, but I think they're going to be so anxious to get it back. They'll put all this behind them, just like we did, just like we're doing right now. That people are starting to get back to somewhat normal lifestyle. Never be totally normal, but I think that's a good point. I think you will have some of those people that will write it off and not agree with how it was handled. But for the most part, I think eventually it'll get back to ballparks are full. People understood what we went through and time to move on.
Well, speaking of moving on, youth baseball has moved on to getting back onto the field in many states. Again, I don't know off the top of my head if all states are in the same boat as far as allowing baseball to return, but certainly in Tennessee and I think in Mississippi as well, Ed?
No doubt. Mississippi, Tennessee are full speed ahead. Alabama starts up June 15th. Georgia has already started on June 1st. And so I'm as busy as I've ever been because all this stored up energy that we sat on for so long, and now it's just all hit us at once. So I've got 42 baseball teams in my organization from ages 7 to 18.
Wow.
And every one of them are playing this weekend somewhere. And so that gives you any indication of it's back, you know.
Wow, that's 42 teams all playing this weekend. So as far as when you're talking about these tournaments and things that are happening, obviously with the fans and stuff, there's things that are being done. Is there any changes or things safety-wise being done as far as the players are concerned or in-game?
So Cordova, a park in Cordova, Game Day Field, first week they tried to limit the amount of kids that were in the dugout together. So they kind of put a set of bleachers behind the dugout and had some of the kids spread out. Parents are just required to stay 6 feet apart, not come sit in the bleachers. They're bringing their chairs. They're limiting concession stands and allowing some parents to bring in the coolers. I just read the state of Alabama is going to require parents and fans and coaches to wear masks once they're entering the park and around the park. But once the players and coaches get on the field, they're going to be able to take them off and play. But it's more of just requiring and hoping that the fans will do their part and stay social distancing. The players, I mean, you think about it, there's not much you can do. You got to share the baseball. You got to have an umpire a foot behind you. You've got to stand next to a runner when you're playing first base and, the opposing team's runner's on base. So I think it's just little things that people will try to do, but not a lot of changes.
The kids haven't been hit with COVID-19 like the adults have, although kids have been. They're not immune to it, right? But it's certainly not affected the younger people as much as it has our senior citizens. However, as we were talking a month and a half ago, before the return of baseball, it was, wow, what are they going to do in baseball? They turn a double play. Bang, the pitcher, first of all, has the ball in his hand, then the shortstop, then the second baseman, then the first baseman, back to the pitcher. Maybe they throw it around the horn. 5 different guys touch it. Oh, they're going to have to throw out the baseball, and they're going to have to get another baseball. None of that's happening, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. There's been some people that have sanitized the balls and have sanitizer in the dugouts for the kids in between each inning. But, again, that's just for to be able to at least get the tournaments rolling. These tournament directors have to have that stuff in play. But I think people are slowly starting to get back to somewhat normal and just, again, trying to be as safe as they can. I think what you mentioned about the older group of people being affected more now that we probably see less and less of the grandparents and aunts and uncles coming out to the ballpark and watching their grandkids or nephews play. But these parents are anxious to get back out there. These kids are ready to rock and roll. But for the most part, it's back and most part normal.
That's now in the today's world of baseball. It's like, is that pine tar on the pitcher's hat? No, that's just hand sanitizer. He's just he's very safety precautious here. He doesn't want to get sick, so he's sanitizing after every pitch.
Boy, he could drop he could drop that breaking pitch an extra foot or two with the hand sanitizer. So Ed, has there been, like you said, you have 42 teams. 42 teams. You have a lot of kids in your organization. Has there been anything that's happened as far as as kids? Have any of the kids have to take a test yet? Any positive tests? Anything with parents? What has happened with that?
I can count on one hand how many players have decided to take some time off and just let all this settle out. So that's pretty good odds when you've got 550 kids and families in your organization. I've had one player who recently the mom reached out and said that they were her son was around a kid whose father was tested positive. Just wanted to let us know. We made sure the kid did not participate with us in last week's tournament until the kid was tested. Both kids were tested. The rest of that family was tested negative, and so we're back to normal. So again, the odds have been pretty good. One kid was around somebody that was positive and then checked out to be okay, and then 3 to 5 players out of 500 plus have decided to not play this spring for us.
Is there a governing body that decides like what you need to do, or is it state by state? Like who are you getting your information from when they return to being able to play games? Like who's the boss when it comes down to it?
State by state, the tournament directors follow the guidelines. So in Mississippi, let's just say Scotty Baker, the director of USSSA down there in South Haven, he'll communicate with Darren Musselwhite, the mayor of South Haven, who follows the orders of the governor of Mississippi. In Tennessee, again, different guidelines because it's a different state. Alabama, we're heading over to Alabama Monday We had to push back some stuff because the governor of Alabama just was a little bit slower getting things started. So, yes, it is state by state, governor by governor, city by city. It's just a trickle-down effect to these tournament directors on what they're able to allow.
So you're 42 teams that are all in action this weekend. Like, how big of an area is that covering?
So that this weekend in particular covers Atlanta, Georgia, Memphis, Tennessee, Jackson, Mississippi, South Haven, Oxford, Tupelo. That's this weekend in particular. Gosh. So it's busy. So usually our 7 through 13-year-old kids are done finishing up their season by now, and it's just high school guys starting up. But since the younger kids' season got postponed, now we've got everybody going at once.
Well, I want to congratulate you because we've had you on the show for years when you were a player, and it's not like it's been that long. And you have I remember when you started the club, when you started to do hitting instruction and things of that nature, to build it into what you have done says an awful lot, Ed, about you and about the people that you have in your organization. So I want to say, tip of the cap to what's going on with Easley Baseball.
I appreciate it. Year 1, I had 12 teams. Year 2, I had 27 teams. And we're in year 3, and I'm up to 42. And I hadn't even mentioned that I've got 8 softball teams as well in Easley Softball Club. So we really got 50, 8 softball, 42 baseball. And I tell people every week when they ask how did you do this, it's the group of guys, it's the group of coaches that have come on board with me to help guide these players and help develop them. And these parents are seeing the instruction that we provide that's making a difference.
What's the website for people if they're interested?
EasleyBaseball.com.
And that's pretty easy to find for Ed Easley Baseball. Hey, Ed, thank you so much. Always appreciate it. Stay well. Best of luck. You always have an outlet here on this show.
Thanks so much, guys.
Take care.
Thanks.
He's a good guy.
Man, 50 teams. Holy Lord.
You probably remember when he just started, hitting instruction, and then he had it's amazing how it's really taken off for Ed. He's just a good guy, so I'm glad it has been very successful for him.
I don't even know how you try and keep track of what the heck's going on when you got that many teams playing in that many different locations, and you're like, well, I don't even know what you do as the person who's kind of in charge of all of it.
Well, one thing's for sure, can't be at all those games. It can't be at all those locations. So he has to have a lot of people around him in his organization, and he just credited them to why they're so successful. All right, we'll take a timeout, come back. Remember, hour number 3, we got our 5 favorite songs at 12:05, and then our 4-man scramble at 12:25. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again
Our Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out.
So got some text here in the First Bank text line 67129. Where Corey texted in talking about the interview with Ed Easley. Says it just seems like on the surface they're not really concerned with what's going on, including the recent spikes impacting our city and state. We are nowhere near normal.
You know what? It's interesting he says that because you certainly could take that out of the conversation. I'm sure they're very concerned, but then they feel that they've done what they can do, and now they're not going to be concerned. They're going to play baseball, and they're going to try to be as normal as they can and not be worried about it. But I completely understand what Corey's saying, but that's the way Ed is, too, in his demeanor. So it's like, yeah, look, we put our things in. We're doing what we can. We're spacing out people. We had the reserves from the bench that were in the stands. What else you want us to do? We're out there playing now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the idea of I could understand where some people look at it and go like putting these young kids out there on a baseball field as like one of the first things to really get going again is a little weird. But yeah, I mean, I guess they'll hopefully nothing bad comes of it, and they're able to continue to do this.
Well, they've had a number of tournaments, not only here in Memphis and Mississippi and in other states that have opened up for baseball, and these youth tournaments, I have not heard anything really bad that have come out of it. They certainly have not come out of these tournaments that Easley Baseball has been involved in.
Another text here talking about the University of Memphis and football tickets. Says the U of M will suffer exponentially by eliminating single-game ticket sales. Compare their season ticket holder number versus the per-game attendance last year. I suspect you'll immediately see the financial impact by doing this.
Yes, but that's going to happen because it's only 50%. There's only so much they're going to be able to do financially. Everybody's going to take a hit, right?
I mean, that's why this next fiscal year is going to be very rough on these universities across the nation, because football is the life force of these athletic departments, and football's going to probably take a huge hit at every single one of them.
I guess what this person may be talking about is that they think if you eliminate the single game ticket purchase and just rely on the season ticket sales, that Memphis won't even reach that 50% capacity with season ticket sales. That's probably what they're thinking.
And they may not, but it's just, I mean, it's, I think it's a way they look at it. It's, the one thing I do have a question about that too is what they do about, not that it matters that much at the University of Memphis because of the teams they play, but what about visiting fans?
That's a good question.
With no single game tickets, I would assume that's totally out of the question. Because that's what that would be.
I would imagine, though, with a traveling party for a university, there will be complimentary tickets, right? I mean, there are people that are associated with the team but are not on the team that come to the games that would be allowed to, right?
Normally, yes, but
so you think they will be?
I think that's completely out of the question. Considering
if there is a small allotment that they, whatever that little that's kind of a small allotment of whatever that is, not what it normally would be, but what is that allotment that the visitors are at least? Because you would think you have to at least have something for visiting fans.
That's a great question. I don't know if it's going to be different from team to team, from league to league, or like Gabe said, they just won't have that. I don't know. That's a real interesting question that we're going to have to ask one of these guys that we have on all the time.
And it's not even the university. I mean, the University of Memphis is one thing. Again, there's not many teams that bring fans really for them, but like around the SEC.
Yes, and
like
how
how are they handling? I mean, that's where you get you might get 10, 12,000 visiting fans normally.
And if it's 50% capacity. And these fans are not buying season tickets to the opponents for the opponent and their schedule. In other words, let's say Alabama brought 12,000 fans, and they probably do, to an Ole Miss game in Oxford. The people aren't going to buy season tickets for Ole Miss.
That's my point. Like, so is there any allotment at all, or is the visiting team just shut out completely?
Right. I mean, it's a great point because you can't, and you also got to get it. You have to have a number. If you have. Again, I don't know what Vaught Hemingway seats. Does anybody, can they look it up real quick? And then say it's 50% capacity. Do they have enough season tickets sales to cover half? And if they do, then what are you going to do? Eliminate some of those? And then
Ole Miss will have enough to cover it more than half.
Okay.
I would
Vaught
assume.
Hemingway is 64,000.
So if you get 32,000 season tickets sold, that's 32,000. There's your half. There's your 50% if it stays at 50%. And like Keith Carter said, they're looking at all different scenarios. They think there's a good chance it could be full capacity, which we won't even have to worry about this conversation. But let's say it's not. That's a great point, Eli. If you're covering all your sales, your season ticket holders, that's it. You're done. Well, how about if, you would normally get 12,000. I'm just throwing out a number, 12,000, 8,000, whatever it is, Alabama fans. Then you can't put them in there from the 50% rule. So are you going to cut down on the season ticket holders and not give them a chance to see the Alabama game to bring Alabama fans in? You're not.
I'm assuming that either I would assume there'll at least be some very small allotment that needs to at least to be available for the visitors, but it certainly isn't going to be anything near what they normally get at these SEC games.
No, you're right.
You can't make that many tickets available for them. So there's a lot of stuff that they've got to try and figure out amongst all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Talking earlier about Colin Kaepernick. Somebody texted in, said if the NFL is going to force someone to bring in Kaepernick, they should put him in the nation's capital. What better statement could they make than to put him in D.C.?
Well,
John on Facebook says they should put him on the Vikings because of the George Floyd situation.
Minnesota right now what's their backup situation in Minnesota? Anybody know off the top of their head?
I'm not sure who they have as a backup right now.
Kirk Cousins, the starter. I don't know. That sort of makes sense, doesn't it? As far as Washington is concerned, they have 3 quarterbacks right now on the roster at least, right? And they all do. They all do. So I just don't – I don't agree with Lee Sterling. I would not be surprised whatsoever if somebody does open the door for Kaepernick. But I don't know if the NFL is going to force an owner to do that. Because that's basically what he's saying. He said it's a foregone conclusion that the NFL behind the scenes will tell a team to sign Kaepernick. In other words, force a team to sign Kaepernick. I don't know if that'll happen. But I really can see a team taking that step now because of what's happening.
Another text here says, if someone's concerned about youth baseball, just stay home or don't put your kid in the league. Come on, quit whining. It does more harm to keep everyone stuck inside.
Kenneth Gainwell, the Memphis Tigers, tweets out, I want to see the stadium full this year. COVID-19 go away. we can all agree with those sentiments.
If only Kenneth Gainwell had the power to just make it go away.
But
anybody did.
He can outrun COVID-19. I know that. He's fast. He's elusive. COVID-19 isn't catching him. When we come back, our 5 favorite songs. Today's category, Days of the Week. And then at 12:25, it's back. Keith Pankey, Jay Hasselman will join us on the 4-man scramble. And every week, we will give you a chance to win a gift card to Edwin Watts with a chance to be in the drawing for the grand prize, which is Golfer 4 at Ridgeway Country Club. So stay tuned for that. Hour 3 is on the way. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, that's AM 560, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM as well.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines. And the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5 Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Rolling right along on this Hump Day edition of Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Gabe Kuhn. Thanks to all our sponsors. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure is located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor. That's FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. And again, thank you to all the fine folks at FedEx and for everything they're doing on the front lines of this battle against COVID-19, delivering the test kits, the masks, the ventilators, whatever is needed, the medical supplies. We appreciate everything they are doing. And the third hour of the program, as you just heard, is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware, locally owned and operated. Jared Carter and the Carter brothers, just outstanding people, and they help that can steer you in the right direction, whether it be paints from Benjamin Moore Paints or if you need some rekeying done with their state-of-the-art key center. They have bilingual employees. Look, convenience, service, knowledge, and price is what you're looking for. You got it at East Memphis Ace Hardware. Give them a call at 901-683-8688. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 4. Tomorrow on the program, among our guests, Aaron Torres will join us from Fox Sports Radio, and also Steve Kyler from Baseball, Make That Basketball Insiders, tomorrow's program, among other guests that we're working on. And sad to hear that Claudell Washington has passed away, Eli, at the age of 65.
Yeah, I remember him from his Braves days in the 80s. I always liked the name Claudell.
Yeah, I remember. Wasn't he with the A's as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He played for a lot. I was looking up he played a long time. I didn't realize how long he played. But yeah, I remember him from the Braves in the early 80s.
Yeah, it's look, it's always sad, and we've talked about a number of athletes or sports personalities here in the last month that have passed away. There's always going to be that. I mean, people get older and they pass away, but with the COVID-19, a number of them that were fell to this pandemic, and just some really, really big names in the world of sports, unfortunately. But when you start to rattle off these baseball players that have passed away, and I just think of my baseball cards as a kid, and I go, yeah, I remember that baseball card. I remember that baseball card. It gets really sad. Major League Soccer has announced that they will return to play July 8th with a tournament at Disney World. So another sports league that will be playing in Disney World. All 26 of their teams will compete in a tournament starting July 8th. So the return of Major League Soccer, and we know that the USL and Memphis 901 FC is right behind, that the game plan is on. They're back to working out, although not full team workouts, but they're working out, even with a ball, which is nice because, Eli, I don't know if you know this. For soccer, you need a ball to play. You need to play the game with a ball or you're in trouble.
You don't need hands, but you do need a ball.
Don't need hands. All right, time for our 5 favorite songs. Today's category, Days of the Week. Days of the Week. You need a day of the week in the title of your song. If you've yet to text in, what are you waiting for? Text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. If you are watching us live, you can message us with those lists at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. Also, if you have a suggestion for a theme for our 5 favorite songs, you can send those in as well. We've had a number of people that have stepped up as far as that's concerned, including today's category, which was a suggestion. Eli, you are starting us off today.
All right. I will start with number 5, Tuesday's Gone, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Number 4, Monday, the Mamas and the Papas. Number 3, Saturday in the Park, Chicago. Number 2, Come Monday, Jimmy Buffett. And number 1. Sunday, Bloody Sunday, my number 1.
Really good list. A lot of good choices. This was another one of those really, really tough categories. Gabe, you're second here today.
Honestly, I disagree. I had trouble. I had a lot of trouble picking out what I wanted.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said no. Usually when you say that, you mean you have like a lot of songs that you were narrowing down from. Is that what you were meaning?
What I'm saying is I had
a lot of good choices.
A lot of great choices. That's what you're saying, right?
No.
Oh,
no, I'm saying the opposite of that. Not a lot of good choices
you
at all.
don't think there were a lot of good choices?
For me, no.
Whoa.
For you, maybe. You have a larger array of music that you can pull from.
Yeah. Eli, what did you think?
I thought it was okay.
All right.
But
I'm outvoted on this one.
It was hard to narrow it down to the 5 but like the overall field wasn't massive. Like there were about 9 or 10 songs that it was a little hard to narrow it down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like I had 30 songs to begin with.
I probably had about 20 that I considered. Of course, some of them are like goofy songs, but I really like them. But they didn't make my list.
I had a little under 10, and there's some that I'm going to say that you will have no idea even who the artist is. 5, if I have Fleetwood Mac on my list, you can guarantee that it was a small list I was picking from. Monday Morning by Fleetwood Mac. 4, I went Tuesday by I Love McConan and Drake.
Whoa.
3, see? You don't know who that is, do you?
I know who Drake is.
I know Drake, but I don't know.
Are you guys familiar with 2 Chainz?
Yes.
Yes, I've heard of 2 Chainz.
Saturday Night is number 3 by 2 Chainz.
Okay.
2, I have Sunday, Bloody Sunday. That was a good choice there by Eli. And number 1, it was on your list as well. Saturday in the Park by Chicago.
Okay, that's a great song.
Great song. Look, I think you could come up with 5 favorite songs just for Saturday, just for Sunday.
Well, let's say Wednesday and Thursday are greatly disrespected in the day game.
Yes.
If you can find songs about Wednesday and Thursday, then you're doing something.
I don't mean this to sound like honorable mentions, but I'm looking at Saturday, right? Saturday night. Saturday's All Right for Fighting, right? Elton John. Another Saturday Night, which was originally done by Sam Cooke, and then the version I love is Cat Stevens. Then there was the song called Saturday Night by the Bay City Rollers, which was one of those goofy songs that I really loved in the 70s.
S-A-T-Y.
I don't mean to be like the tough teacher here like Greg, but I see a couple people on the text line putting Easy Like Sunday Morning by the Commodores and Lionel Richie. That song is called Easy. There's not like a Sunday morning. It's not. Right. Sunday is not involved in the title of that song.
Right, so you have to eliminate that one. You have to eliminate that one. All right, let me give you my list, and then we'll get to yours and some of these other great songs.
Look at Gabe coming in and striking people down.
Hey, that would have been in my list had I been able to use it. I just didn't want to. I wanted to play the game. I knew Greg would be on his P's and Q's if I used it.
Number 5 for me, Come Monday, Jimmy Buffett. Number 4, I Don't Like Mondays by the Boomtown Rats. Number 3, Saturday in the Park by Chicago. Number 2, Friday I'm in Love by The Cure. And here is my number 1.
The local rock group down the street is trying hard to learn their song. Serenade the weekend squire just came out to mow his lawn. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday.
Another Pleasant Valley Sunday. It's Pleasant Valley Sunday by the Monkees. Mickey Dolenz, the drummer, on lead vocals.
Okay. I think that might be their first Monkees. Is that our first Monkees?
I think it is. When we have 5 favorite songs that deal with just the town Clarksville, I'm sure they'll re-enter.
We had a Mark Lindsay sighting before we had a Monkey sighting. I didn't expect that.
Well, nobody really expected a Mark Lindsay sighting because nobody knew who Mark Lindsay was. All right, from the First Bank text line here, Carolyn checks in with Manic Monday by the Bengals. I actually considered that. Tuesday Afternoon by the Moody Blues. Friday I'm in Love. Saturday Night by the Bay City Rollers. And Pleasant Valley Sunday.
Wow, great list.
Raider Corey comes with Hello Friday by Flo Rida. Gabe, you familiar with it?
I am familiar with it. Not a big fan, but I am familiar.
He goes from Flo Rida to Fats Domino, Blue Monday. Number 3, Last Friday Night, Katy Perry. Number 2, Manic Monday, the Bengals. And number 1, Easy Like Sunday Morning. But again, you say that's only
That's
easy.
just easy. That's just
easy.
Now, his number 3, Last Friday Night by Katy Perry, that was a honorable mention for me. I wanted to put it in, but I didn't want to take the heck that y'all would give me.
And before you go on, Corey is still protesting, by the way. I'm looking on Twitter now. He says, I vehemently disagree with the Easy song. If it has Sunday morning in parentheses, it should count. Does it?
It does not. I'm telling you, I've looked at the song. It is not in parentheses either.
We've always included the parentheses like the Pina Colada song.
It is Easy Like Sunday Morning, I could see. I mean, I wanted to put it in there. I wanted it to be my number 1 song.
Yeah, but that's a verse or a sentence in the song. But if it's just Easy with no parentheses, then we can't allow it.
Let's see here. Another list from, Stormy Monday by T-Bone Walker. Saturday in the Park, Chicago. Manic Monday, Bengals. Bengals are getting a lot of play here. I
consider them.
Another Saturday Night, Sam Cooke.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday by Ice Cube. Are you familiar with that one, Game? Friday, Ice Cube?
Yes, sure am.
Guys, ever heard?
Not a fan of that one?
No, I am a fan. I just.
Guys, ever heard the song?
Didn't
Thank
make
God
the
It's
cut.
Friday? From the back in the disco days. Thank God It's Friday. Nobody.
Nope. John on Facebook, just another Manic Monday. Saturday in the Park, Tuesday Afternoon. Tuesday's Gone. And Saturday Night Special comes with a couple of Leonard Skinner. Back-to-back with the Leonard Skinners there.
Good one.
Bobby on Facebook, Come Monday. Sunday Morning Coming Down by Johnny Cash. I'm not familiar with that Johnny Cash song. I probably have heard it, but I didn't know that's title. Saturday Night Special, Skinnerd. Another Saturday Night, Cat Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuesday's Gone. So Leonard Skinner, very, very popular among the Facebook crowd, which are both very good songs. I considered both of them, but only put Tuesday's Gone in my list. Ray comes with Sunday Bloody Sunday, Manic Monday, Saturday Night's All Right, Ruby Tuesday, and Saturday in the Park. Who sings Ruby Tuesday?
Rolling Stones. I considered Ruby Tuesday. Let me tell you a couple more I considered. Sunday Will Never Be the Same, Spanky and Our Gang, and Rainy Days and Mondays by the Carpenters.
Let's see here. Somebody says, can't believe no one had Monday Night Memories by Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart. From wrestling fame, Jimmy Hart?
I guess
he was with the, what was the group? The Gentrys, right? He was in a group. He's good.
Let's see, another list here. Number 5, Freaky Friday by Lil Dicky. Number 4, Sunday Night Buttermilk Waltz by the Black Crowes. Okay. Number 3, Saturday Night Special. Number 2, Tuesday's Gone. And number 1, Good Friday by the Black Crowes. Again, we have not had. Is there any? Can you think of a song that has Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday and Thursday are disrespected in the song game. There's not been one. Every other day of the week is mentioned a lot, but Wednesday and Thursday just don't get any love.
David Bowie had a song called Thursday's Child. Wednesday. Let's see. Let me look this up if there's any. I don't think so.
It's just funny that
Wednesday.
I mean, Tuesday gets a lot. Tuesday somehow gets a lot, but yet Wednesday, Thursday just get forgotten about.
Yeah, you're right. But there are so many from Saturday and Friday and Sunday.
All the other Mondays, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday all have a lot. Even Tuesday has a decent amount. But the Wednesday, Thursday just get, apparently in the songwriting world, for some reason, Wednesday, Thursday just don't work very well.
Let's see. I'm just looking at lists here. Maybe somebody will come up with one, for a good one for Wednesday or Thursday. But you're absolutely right. I didn't even notice that last night. Let's put my list together.
I don't have any Fridays on my list, but there are plenty of Fridays out there.
Yeah, I used The Cure in mine, on my list. Friday I'm in Love was number 2. Thank God It's Friday is a pretty, again, you got to go back to the disco days, but it was a pretty fun song. All right, there you go. Tomorrow, Eli, what's our topic?
Well, tomorrow, because we need a little positivity in our lives here in 2020. We've got a lot of bad stuff going on in the first almost half the year. So tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of options here. Somebody, by the way, comes with Wednesday Morning Jam by Simon and Garfunkel.
I'll have to check that one out. I love Simon and Garfunkel. I don't know that song off the top of my head.
Tomorrow's category, good. The word good.
Any variations? No great.
Gooder counts. Gooder or goodest.
The goodest.
Goodest counts. Gooder counts.
No great.
Good.
Just smart ass. No great.
Good.
Good.
We're not looking for things that are great. We're just looking for good. We're just looking for a solid good here. We're doing good for tomorrow.
Speaking of trying to put you in everything that's going on in a better mood, Corey suggests songs with happy in the title. I don't think we've done that one, right?
We have not.
Okay, so we'll put that away for the future. Also, John suggested types of transportation. That's pretty cool, right? Driving, flying,
we haven't
sailing.
done directions either, north, south, east, west.
Directions is another one. There's a million categories we haven't done yet, but I think we'll get to a lot of them here eventually. And again, continue to text in with your suggestions on the First Bank text line at 67129. But tomorrow it will be songs with good in the title. I have a feeling there's going to be a plethora of them.
There's a ton of them. There is no doubt. Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all of your running gear, folks. Don't forget to stop by either one of their 2 locations. East Memphis, Laurelwood Shopping Center, out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to the Hueys. You can go on in there. They'll take a look at the way you run or walk, get you fitted in shoes just right for you, based on the way you run or walk and where you put pressure on certain parts of your foot. They'll get the shoes that have the support in the right places just for you, plus any other gear and things that you would need. They've got it all for you at Fleet Feet. They're all about the runners over at Fleet Feet, so you can go by and see them again, either one of the 2 locations. They're also online at fleetfeetmemphis.com. Now, coming up, it is the season debut, the delayed season debut of the 4-man scramble. If you want to get in, you can do so via the First Bank phone line at 360-8255. We'll take the first 4 callers. You can pick any one of the 4 of us, and whichever one of us has the 3 golfers that make the most money this week, that listener will get a $20 gift card to Edwin Watts and be entered into our drawing at the end of the season for Golf for 4 at Ridgeway Country Club. That's an opportunity you don't get very often if you're not a member to go play beautiful Ridgeway Country Club. I will tell you today's picking order, determined by a random draw yesterday. Jay has the first pick, then Keith, then me, then Greg, if that affects how you want to pick us. But if you dial in at 360-8255, we take the first 4 callers for an opportunity to play along with us in our 4-man scramble to win a $20 gift card to Edwin Watts and a chance at Golf for 4 at Ridgeway Country Club.
And I am the defending champion, correct? Come on, you know I am.
Yes, you beat me by just under $300,000 last year.
You made the comeback late. I remember that. We had a fun year. So a little bit abbreviated this year, but it's underway when we return. Stay with us. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Hi, I'm Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Five-Ash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Family Leisure's here to make staying at home more enjoyable for you and your family this summer. Complete pool packages starting at $15.99. 24-foot pools only $19.99. 4-person spas starting at $19.99. Swim spas starting at under $10,000. We are offering contactless purchasing, deliveries, and curbside pickup. Give us a call to schedule an appointment or to place an order. Stay safe with Family Leisure.
Hi, everybody, The Herd. Over 50 years ago, 2 men with a passion for motorsport and engineering began building race engines in an old abandoned mill. They saw an opportunity on every wide open road and an invitation in every curve. It was a chance to push the envelope, break all the rules. It was a chance to prove that a 2-ton family sedan could have the performance to compete in a 24-hour track race. But shocking the competition and building a reputation, it wasn't enough. Their vision was to expand upon the excellence they had created. This engineering company continued to validate their belief by putting race car engines in luxury sedans and proceeded to stun the elite in world motor racing by winning and winning and winning. We may never truly understand what drives Mercedes-AMG to break barriers, along with every record in the book, but here's to allowing us to enjoy the results. Learn more at mbusa.com/AMG. Mercedes-AMG. Driving performance.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
So for a while there, we didn't have any idea what sports would return, when it would return, if it would return, what was going on with the golf world. But now we know that golf is back. The PGA Tour returns this week, and that means we will have, once again, the 4-man scramble, and we couldn't be more excited about it as we'll make our picks today for the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial. We have 2 here with Eli and Greg. That means we need 2 more. That's how you get to 4. And that means we bring on to the show our good buddy from Edwin Watts, Mr. Jay Hasselman. Jay, how are you?
Hey, guys, is this really happening?
I know.
We believe so.
I was a little stunned when Eli told me it's back, but hey, it is, and we're happy to have you guys back.
It's impressive. You can still do some math, too, Greg.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, I know. That's awesome, man. That's so good to be doing something like this again.
And it's good to have Edwin Watts back open. And, in fact, I'll be heading over this afternoon to say hi to you. But I'm glad things are going well with you, Jay. Let's bring on the 4th member of the 4-man scramble, and that is our buddy Keith Penke from Ridgeway Country Club. Keith, it's happening.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm enjoying this cool weather, and I'm excited to watch some golf.
Yeah, how about the weather we get for the first day of our – I would like to be playing a 4-man scramble today.
Let's meet up after the show.
No doubt about that. We will be making our picks coming up here in just a little bit. But I want to ask you guys both. Do you obviously most of the time people play golf without fans, but for these golfers, does no fans out there have any impact on them, Keith?
Man, that's a good question. I think not really. I mean, I got to think these guys are so in the zone and so into their games. I just got to think that it's almost going to be easier for them to not have fans. I mean, the cool thing about it is going to be obviously, and kind of the interesting part of it is they're not going to have grandstands. So it might be a little harder in that sense because you won't be able to bank it off the grandstand behind the green. I mean, if you hit a ball long, it's going long. It's not going to hit the grandstand, and then you're going to get a free drop, somewhere nice and chip it up there. So it's going to make any arid shots they hit more arid. Once again, you're not going to have a fan there to hit and knock it back into play. So that's going to be weird. But I got to think, the actual game, it's going to be about the same, and it's going to be, they're not going to feel that much different. But it's going to be different as far as being quiet.
Jay, do you think it does? One thing, they won't have. Sometimes, like they pick out, the target lines. Like it might be a fan, it might be like you said, a grandstand or whatever. They don't have that. But Jay, how much do you think it affects them?
I could see where especially if a guy gets it going, and all of a sudden you get some emotion, the fans kind of get involved. I could see where you wouldn't have that. But yeah, I mean. And, other than, those guys don't hit very many bad shots, but it is probably nice to have a little buffer, some bumpers like when you're bowling. I mean, I don't throw a lot of gutter balls, but if I bowled with the bumpers, I would be a lot better.
I wonder, I'm more curious about, as we know who the best golfers are statistically annually, but we don't have any idea who was out there hitting balls the most, who was in better mental condition, ready to rock and roll.
Do you not have social media, Greg? Because that's. I mean, number one, they're all apparently Peloton champions. And number two, a lot of them have been putting a lot of stuff. Like I saw Justin Thomas and Ricky Fowler playing not just golf but left-handed golf, and they were like, I think one of them shot in the 70s left-handed.
What?
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
These guys
are hyper competitive and hyper talented.
Well, I need to follow those guys because I'm not following too many of them on my.
You got to get some of those girl things off of your internet and put on some golf and some sports stuff. I mean, it can't just be like golf babes and stuff like that.
Well, when they did the match with Dustin and Ricky and all those, I mean, they're talking there that Dustin Johnson took 40 days off or something.
Right. Yeah. That's my point. And he looked like it too. But that's why I wanted to ask you guys. It's golf. I mean, these guys have hit 1 trillion golf balls. So even if it's 1 week preparation for this tournament, I would imagine it doesn't take too much to get back into playing shape for golf as opposed to, getting ready for a baseball season and to throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or to get back into NBA shape, right? You would think it's pretty easy.
You would think. I would think. Give these guys a week to practice, and then, they've obviously had this week to do some preparation. I mean, they may not be as sharp as normal, but I think they're going to be okay.
Keith?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about golf is, and we've all done it, I mean, you got where you when you're playing, you go out and you shoot 62 one day, and maybe not me, but and then the next day you shoot in the 70s. So, I mean, yeah, there is a little bit of momentum in golf, and there is a little bit of a hot, but as a whole, I mean, from week to week, you're a different individual and different golfer. So these guys will be ready. It's going to be awesome to see them. But you're right. I mean, it is a little bit different because you're like, well, you don't know who to pick because I guarantee you Brooks Koepka hadn't played many rounds of golf in the last 2 months.
It's funny. I was looking at who's playing this week, and I thought, man, but you don't ever know though, because he always talks about how he doesn't prepare anyway. So maybe this is the perfect storm for him.
And hasn't played a ton at Colonial, but he was great. Was it last year or the year before that he had like back-to-back 62s?
Yeah, most of these guys are pretty great everywhere.
63.
Yeah, second appearance. This is his second appearance at Colonial. So you just don't know. He's the wild card.
Yeah, and for Rory, it's his first appearance there, so you know with him. By the way, we do have opening for one more contestant to get in, one more caller, 360-8255. Well, Keith is the one that's available. He's the second pick this week, and everybody knows the track record of Keith, and it's not even – we had like three people that called and said,
No,
Keith
last
is the
year
only
he
one.
went out to that sprint. Right? You remember he started off like Secretariat.
Gangbusters.
Oh, yeah, he won the first 3 weeks.
And then he finished like Elmer.
He won the first 3 weeks last year. That's right. So Keith is available, 360-8255. Again, you get a chance to win the $20 gift card for Edwin Watts and be into the drawing for Golf for Four at Ridgeway Country Club. Just call in and talk to Gabe. We do have room for one more. All right, couple of things for you guys on the Ryder Cup. They've decided that Steve Stricker will have 6 at-large selections, and there will be 6 automatic qualifiers because of the new schedule. Jay, do you like that?
I do, absolutely, because it's a guy could have really played well for a while and be out of form now and fall out of the points, but because of the way it was structured, he could get in at that 9th or 10th spot. So I'm almost to the point where I think they should just get 12 picks. Pick who you want. I mean,
that would be
it's
fun.
like every other sport. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, most of the guys are going to pick are going to be the guys
that
are
are
up there in the
guys
standings
that
anyway.
qualify anyway, they're going to pick them. So anyway, but that's just my.
Wasn't it Stricker who said that if you don't have fans for the Ryder Cup, it's basically just a yawner?
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to ask is that if they can't have fans, should they postpone it to next year? Keith?
I mean, I think that, taking your question earlier, this is a whole different question. I think Ryder Cup, 100,000,000% it changes. The fans, you got to have the fans. I mean, the fans are the Ryder Cup. That's what makes it exciting. Seeing Bubba Watson, get everybody yelling and then hitting a tee-ball with everybody screaming as loud as they can, and hearing the ole oles and hearing the U.S. and it's just that is the Ryder Cup. So but it needs to have fans. But aren't they starting to have fans at the Memorial? Starting in
that's the plan.
Starting in July. So I mean, hopefully we can get some fans out there for the Ryder Cup. But I think you got to have the fans.
But if they allow fans at the Ryder Cup, are any European fans going to be able to come over and go?
Well, they have to come over 2 weeks early.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be part of the thing. It'd be completely one-sided on the fans.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I mean, we're just living in a world that's totally new. But there's come on, there's got to be plenty of European fans in the U.S. that would want to go and root them on.
And selfishly for us here in Memphis, the revised schedule pushing back the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Now, like you said, Keith, with the Memorial starting to have fans, I think it bodes well. I don't know if we'll have 100% capacity with fans, but I think it's going to be a situation where there will be fans for this great tournament, which was just a success to the highest level last year in its inaugural season. So I think it pretty much went really well with the reschedule for the Memphis tournament. Knock on wood, assuming nothing else tumultuous happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, July 4th was going to be a tough week, having it the third day on the actual 4th of July. But and then now, obviously, if it would have cut that schedule, we wouldn't have fans. So yeah, I'm very excited. I was pumped when I saw the Memorial was starting back with fans, and that that our event would have fans. I mean, you can get out there. I mean, as long as they I would think they'd have to limit the number of fans. Maybe, like you said, not have full capacity. But if you maybe have half capacity, you would still be able to continue to do social distancing and allow it to be that way.
Jay, one of the things that came out of these little events they've had so far is the miking up of the golfers, and a lot of people obviously really enjoyed that. And so they've talked about doing it at regular events, but both Justin Thomas, who you'd think would be one of the most likely, and Jon Rahm said, no, I'm not doing that. Do you think they could get any golfers, any of the big-name golfers, to actually wear mics during actual events?
I think it's going to be hard because, those guys are all, a lot of it is about image for their sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever been inside the ropes, sometimes it might be a little salty for public consumption, I don't think those guys want to try to have to hold anything back. And plus, when you get into a situation where you're playing golf and you're doing your job, sometimes they could slip, and I could see where they don't want to have that in the back of their mind the whole time.
Well, think about this.
Rahm for sure, and Rahm said they'd have to have a 30-second delay.
Right.
John Rahm, you can't air half of what he says.
What about Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods has the foulest mouth you've ever heard in private.
Yeah.
He's smart enough to know in public not to do it.
My theory is if Justin Thomas isn't willing to do it, I can't. I don't. Because to me, he would be like the most likely guy out there that would do it.
Well, here's the deal, guys. Think about this. Okay, the world changed in November, whenever it was with COVID-19. The country has changed in the last 2 weeks. So since the Tiger Phil event with Brady and Manning, when Justin was on the course as a reporter and they're all mic'd up and having fun, now, as you said, Jay, it's not even about the image. I mean, God forbid you say the wrong thing. Right. I mean, it could cost you a career. So I would rather not. I would rather not have anything like that near me and have to deal with that and worry about what I say while I'm trying to play the sport that I'm a professional in.
They're not going to air it live. If you're going to do it, there's no way any of it would be aired live. Like it's all going to be delayed and played back.
Yeah, but if there's a technical snafu and the mic is up, and I'm not saying these guys are out there saying things, and I'm not talking about the worst thing you could think of, but just something that's a little bit derogatory or taken the wrong way. It's probably not the smart thing to do.
Well, I
agree.
You can put microphones on every tee and in every cup like Fox does, and you can capture a lot of conversation without asking these guys. And the other thing is, who knows how comfortable it is to play with that mic. There's a lot of things that go into it besides just. I don't see those players as a rule ever agreeing to be mic'd for an everyday. That's one thing to be in a charity event or something like that, but when they're out doing their job, I don't see the majority of them saying yes. And there's probably 10% that would do it no matter what.
Right.
And Keith, the thing is too, it's a little unfair because they're only going to ask about the upper 10 players in the world. Because who cares if
Ryan Palmer.
Yeah, that's funny. I was going to say Ryan Palmer. I don't know why.
Leave Ryan alone.
We hear him, but it's going to be Rory, Dustin, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Tiger. Phil. Other than those, nobody's ever going to be asked because nobody cares to hear them.
True.
Right.
Yeah, Ryan Palmer, 43 years old. That's the kind of player I want to be. 43 years old, nobody walk next to him in the street, you wouldn't have a clue who he is.
Right.
Banking so much money, that's the guy. That's CVG. But, I agree. Golf is a game of inches, obviously, and like Jay just said, if you got this cord on the back of your, running down your back and you're twisting and turning, hitting the golf ball, it's, one small mistake could cost you the entire tournament. And these guys are not going to mic it up, and just do what Jay said and get all the cameras and all the as many mics as you can, and you'll catch some good stuff.
I guess Ryan Palmer, just because it's Colonial, that's what I had him on top
right.
of.
He
always dominates.
Okay, just quickly,
I think he's a member, isn't he?
Yes, he's a member at Colonial. That's what.
Yeah.
So just quickly here, Ryan Palmer career earnings. Guess, Greg.
I would say $11.9 million.
Oh, I bet it's double that.
Jay?
I'm going to say $23 million.
23. Keith.
Right, $16 million.
Jay's the winner. $27 million Ryan Palmer's earned in his career.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's, but
Thank
look,
you, Tiger Woods.
played in the Tiger area.
Yeah.
If you played in the Tiger area, it's all skewed.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
What's Matt Kuchar made? I bet Matt Kuchar's made $50 million.
Yeah, I would guess probably $60 million.
And not that he's not a good player, but he's not a superstar by any means.
No.
It's just the money's crazy. And look, I don't have a problem. I hope they all make all the money in the world, but it's just the money's so skewed now because Tiger made it awesome.
The one I always think about is Jerry Kelly, because Jerry Kelly was what? Could you give a journeyman at best?
Yeah, he's like
but
number
he probably
100.
had a half dozen wins, right?
He came on.
Probably about 6 wins.
He came on right at the exact time that Tiger Woods came on, and he made $28 million in his career. He had 3 PGA Tour wins, made $29 million.
Wow, and he's adding to it now on the Champions Tour. How many wins? Do you have his wins there right there? I just
3.
guessed 6. Okay, so I doubled it.
He's got
Well,
6 wins on the Champions
Tour. That's
Tour.
like Ted Purdy. I was reading about Ted Purdy, who is good friends with a gentleman I know here in Memphis, and he kind of came on with Tiger, and he hadn't done much over his career, but he's been around. He's made $27 million.
It's just crazy, just insane.
Look up a guy like Heath Slocum, who has been on and off the tour for a while. I bet he's made $12 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Tiger. That's again. They should be all sending Tiger Christmas cards every single year.
Oh, big time.
He has changed.
Yep.
The game.
He doesn't need it. He's fine.
Are you guys?
He's done all right.
Are you guys surprised at all that he's not playing this week?
No.
He's
not a major, is it?
He's Slocum $16 million.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know. I didn't know, Jay, if he just because of the rust and having not played other than the
I think this has been you think about it, this has been a perfect storm for Tiger too, because his back was not good. So this has given him an extra 2 to 3 months to get his back well. I mean, if you watch the match he really hit the ball very well at Medalist, and that place is not easy to keep the ball in play, and he hit it, striped it down the middle all day long.
Better chance now he plays in Memphis, even the PGA Championship being the week after?
That kills it, I think. I don't think he comes to Memphis.
You still don't? Okay.
No, he's never really. I don't know that he's ever played the week prior to a major.
He did in the
when the
World Golf Championship was at Firestone and it was a PGA Championship.
Yeah.
He did it sometime.
And
that's true.
This
But
is
the
a
other
whole
thing is,
different
too,
world.
But it being in San Francisco, I don't know, man. I'd like to be optimistic, but at this point, I'm pretty pessimistic.
And that was at Firestone, where he owned the place and knew he could go there.
Where he won 43 times.
All right, so it's time for our picks. The Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial in Fort Worth. Kevin Na, the defending champ. The top 5 players in the world all playing this week. Jay, you've got the first pick.
Well, since we don't have any form to go on, I'm just going to go right with the best player in the world and pick Rory. And he's actually my number 2 pick, but I just could not make myself pick who I had at the top. I just couldn't do it. And one of you guys will pick him, so it's not a big deal.
All right, Keith?
Nah, man, I guess, even though his clubs didn't make it today, John Rahm.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I'm glad. See, he was my first pick. But
yeah, Donnie, his clubs, when he showed up to the course, they had forgot to put his clubs and his luggage in his plane, so his plane had to turn around and go back and pick up his clubs.
How does that happen?
Well, the only thing worse than that is when Ian Woosnam's caddy brought too many clubs that time.
Right.
You talk about first world problems, so I had to send my plane back to go pick up my clubs and bring them to me.
You think FedEx overnight is expensive.
Back.
That's a rough life there. All right, I'm going to go. Man, I said it's so tough when you don't have anything to go off of. I'm going to take Brooks Koepka, even though I'm with you. I feel like he hasn't played probably at all.
Yeah, he hasn't swung a club one time.
He lifted weights. All throughout the year.
He made bets with Tom Brady. That's been his involvement with golf.
He probably swung it today for the first time. Goes, that felt good.
Yeah.
All right, so I got 2. I'll go Justin Thomas, and I'm going to go with a guy who's I guess he lives there, or that's his home course, Spieth. Jordan Spieth.
Spieth actually plays at another course in Dallas, but he does live in Dallas.
And he plays well there, doesn't he? At this course, he's played well in this
course. He's been good here.
I know he hasn't been great the last 2 years, but
this time, I heard something. He was talking. I mean, he's been working on his game. I think he could sleep or be a good pick.
I'm going to take a guy who's had a lot of success here, Kevin Kisner.
Dadgummit. Dang you, Eli. I hate you.
Our first dadgummit of the season.
Yeah.
First week.
Oh. I'm going to go Ryan Palmer. Why not?
Hey, so
I can tell you why not, because you could have got him with your next pick.
He's a good bet at this place. I guarantee he's played this course without fans more than anybody else in the field.
Yeah, no question. Oh, man. I'm going to take Mark Leishman, and I'm just going to go down my list. Webb Simpson.
Oh, man. You got me back. Okay.
Out of the last 4 guys you've just picked, I only had one guy on my list, and that was Webb Simpson.
All right. Keith, your final pick?
Somebody better pick Bryson DeChambeau, this new Hulk.
Yeah, the new bomber.
He's been terrible at
This
Columbia.
isn't really a bomber's paradise.
Yeah, I'll say he's terrible there.
It's a heck of a field, by the way.
It's awesome.
I'll go defending champ, Kevin Na.
Boy, I thought he was my, like, okay, even if Simpson's gone, I'll certainly be able to get Kevin Na out of this.
Kuchar's still out there. You know he's going to make about $180,000 or $200,000. I mean, it's just a layup.
The fifth-ranked player in the world is still out there.
Right?
Who is that? Dustin Johnson?
Yes.
Well, Rose is up there too, isn't he?
Man, Justin Rose, man, he's done.
You think he's done?
I don't know.
I'm gonna take. I can't leave Dustin Johnson sitting the fifth-ranked player in the world. He's probably gonna be terrible, but my goodness gracious, I got to take him.
Somebody needs to pick Sung J M too. I guess that's gonna leave Greg. I mean, this kid play. You know, he's probably chomping the bit since he'll play in 2 months.
I'm gonna take. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Ricky Fowler.
All right, Jay with Rory Leishman Simpson, Keith with Ram Palmer Na, Eli Kepka Kisner DJ, Greg Thomas Spieth and Fowler.
There it is, baby. First week's picks. We are back. Jay, tell everybody about Edwin Watts.
All right, so as we've moved now, I don't guess we've been on the radio since we moved. We've moved to Poplar 240. Over by Best Buy and Target, that shopping center. We're open 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday, 12 to 5 on Sunday. You know, Father's Day is actually coming up in a few, 10 or 12 days. You forget about that. So if you need to come get Dad some shoes or a golf shirt or whatever, come by. We're ready.
Thank you, Jay. I'll see you this afternoon over there. Appreciate it.
Guys, thanks.
Keith, Ridgeway Country Club. Obviously, the members have been playing. How can you become a member?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, we've used the pandemic to our advantage here at Ridgeway. We actually, with the closing of the clubhouse, with obviously restaurants, everything closing, with the closing of the clubhouse, we went ahead and renovated the entire facility. So every inch of our clubhouse is being renovated currently, and will open back up July 1st. New locker room, new dining areas, new children's center. We're redoing the entire facility from top to bottom. So we're so excited. This was supposed to happen, but it was going to happen over 11 months span, and now because we had to close the clubhouse, we went ahead and did everything at one time. So when we reopen July 1st, the clubhouse will be brand new. Golf course is in fabulous shape. The pool's open right now. Everybody's having a great time out there. We have junior golf school this week. So just a great facility, and about to be a brand new facility, repaving all the parking lot and the road, entrance road, everything's getting a repave. So when we reopen in July, it'll be a brand new Ridgeway Country Club. So yeah, I mean, the best thing, this is the time to join because we are pretty much sold out. So if you're still looking to join the facility, this is the best in Memphis right now. It will be in July 1st. So give us a call. Give us a call at 901-853-0929 or look us up on the website, ridgewaycountryclub.com.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Yeah, the golf business is one business that has just been a boom with COVID-19. The courses and places like Edwin Watts are doing better than they ever have.
East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road, next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes. They're all about convenience and service. They have a state-of-the-art key center, including rekeying door locks, and they have exclusivity on the replacement Duracell key fobs. They can beat the dealer prices hands down, sometimes by 30 to 50%. East Memphis Ace Hardware is designed for the homeowner. They got a full variety of Benjamin Moore paints and the experts to help you choose the right colors. Ace can take care of your plumbing challenges. They can cut glass for you, including plexiglass, sharpen your lawnmower blades. They have a new garden center. Best price on bird seed. They have the latest models on the Weber and Traeger grills and the Big Green Egg. If it's screen repairs you need done, they can do that for you. You need light bulbs and air filters. They can take care of your home maintenance projects. Your neighborhood Ace in East Memphis for convenient service, knowledge, and price. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware at 5143 Quince Road. Call them at 901-683-8688. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 4. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware, third-hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Pretty cool. I just got an email, I'm sure you did as well, from PGA Communications that now there's 7 weeks for these players who have yet to qualify for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational in Memphis now can qualify by winning these next 7 weeks. So it's cool. We're getting closer and closer to the tournament in Memphis. And again, the fans will start to be allowed to go to the tournaments, starting with the Memorial. And as long as we're on track, there'll be fans at the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational.
We're running a little short on time. I just want to get to a couple of texts here before we wrap it up. Nico texted. He said, if my Vikings are forced to sign Kaepernick just for the NFL to save face and not because he earned the position, they might as well start plans to move the team to London or Orlando because a lot of Viking Nation would abandon the league before taking one for Roger Goodell's sake. A couple of other song lists that came in. Tuesday's Gone, Skinnerd, God Bless Saturday by Kid Rock, Saturday Night Special. American Saturday Night by Brad Paisley. That's a very good song. That's one I considered. I didn't put it in my top 5 as far as that goes. Blue Monday by New Order. Manic Monday by the Bengals. Except for Monday by Lori Morgan. Louisiana Saturday Night, another very good song. And Sunday Morning by No Doubt, another one there. Somebody else texted in, said, down here in College Station, A&M has already communicated to us that have season tickets, a plan very similar to what Memphis is doing, but told us they're hoping to increase capacity over time, looking at many different scenarios. Yeah, again, I mean, that's pretty much been, everybody that's announced so far has pretty much been the same thing, is that it's going to be season tickets only. Unless they're allowed to increase capacity, then they'll go with single game tickets. But for the most part, I think most of these places, at least to start the year, will be season ticket holders only.
I'm surprised nobody went with Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. Little Elton John. Penny Hardaway, according to Stock Risers, has just offered top 10 sophomore Dariq Whitehead. He's the third 5-star sophomore to be offered by Memphis in the last 24 hours. I mentioned earlier that according to Stock Risers, he has offered Justice Williams and his AAU teammate, Jalen Durant. Big thanks to Ole Miss Athletics Director Keith Carter and Ed Easley for joining us on the program today. Of course, Keith and Jay and the return of the 4-man scramble. Tomorrow, among our guests, Aaron Torres from Fox Sports Radio and Steve Kyler from Basketball Insiders. Our 5 favorite songs category tomorrow are songs with the word good in the title. Songs with the word good in the title. Stay tuned. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next. For Eli Savoie and Gabe Kuhn. I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your hump day, everybody.
But buddy, let me tell you what, if you ask old Will to say